problems, but well, he'll be back next week, and we've got my brother being the camera guy at the moment. Insert yeet. Okay.
Yeet.
So
I gotcha.
all right, let's get this started. So, esports. What are esports?
Well, first, hello. My name's Brandon. Nice to meet you.
We don't want to know your name. We don't want to
know.
know. We don't want an intro. We just want to hear esports.
We just want to hear esports.
No. Who are you? What do you do? How do you get into it?
Right.
Do a little intro.
Well, my name's Brandon Slomp. I've Perth born and raised, been here my whole life. I'm 20, gonna be 21 next month.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, Damien. You'll probably be there.
Probably, yeah.
But so I studied, went through high school, hated high school, went to TAFE.
Tell me we all hate high school.
We all hate high school. Did a diploma of film and TV, then did an advanced diploma of broadcast TV, which is where some of my work comes from. And then last year I did an advanced diploma of sound production, and so I do sound and stuff. I work with an event company, do
sound
setups,
stuff,
sound and stuff.
Yeah.
There you go.
Damien knows a little bit about sound and stuff.
Yeah.
A
little bit.
Yeah. And in my spare time, my hobby is playing competitive fighting games, and specifically Super Smash Brothers.
So what made you want to get into AV and everything? Right.
Well, it's a bit of a catastrophe of a story, if I do say so.
Okay.
Well, the other thing I enjoyed in high school was media, right? That and drama, but drama was ATAR, and I wanted nothing to do with ATAR.
Right.
So media was really my only sort of fun subject in high school. So that's what got me into doing like film and TV at TAFE, and then I went to broadcast. Yeah. And then there was not a great year. Can't probably say too much, but
yeah, that's all good.
One of the lecturers was a dick.
There's always a wanker at school.
Yeah.
Some sort of wanker at schools.
Yeah. And then I ended up going towards audio in the broadcast course, and then the audio lecturer, who I was friends with, ended up just saying, yeah, you don't have to do the diploma, I'm just going to shove you straight into the advanced dip. That's where I was, so I had to play catch up for probably the first term of last year.
Was it easy to catch up to it, or...?
It wasn't easy, but I enjoyed it. Yeah. So, and it was something that I wanted to get better at.
Yeah, so it was challenging and it was just worth it, kind of thing.
Yeah, well, I had the drive to do it. Yeah. So, and I find that is if I have a drive to do soming, I'll get better at it.
Yeah, but that's exactly That's
like anything.
Yeah, exactly, like anything. Yeah.
If I want to get better at driving, I could do better.
Please do. Are you taking me home? But no, like having the drive to get better, like that's sort of what I keep doing now with Smash as well. So
there you go. There we go.
So you were at SAE?
No. He was at he did these broadcast. I'm speaking for him. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I mean I can speak. If you were doing so good.
Thank you.
No, I was at Northbridge North Metro TAFE for the first two, and then I went to Leaderville North Metro TAFE because they were all under the same name. Yeah. So, but yeah.
How did you find the campuses and stuff like that? Like quite nice and flexible.
I mean, they're all. Let's be real, they're all quite old buildings.
Yeah.
But a lot of heart in them. A lot of heart.
A lot of
love.
A lot of heart. Let's not talk about the Leaderville campus fridge. There's a lot of heart in that fridge.
There's a lot. There's a year-old cake. Literally 1 year old.
There's literally a year-old cake. And then we all started stealing each other's icy poles. It was a good time. Yeah. But no, the campuses, they actually, even though they were quite old on the outside, they had the essentials to get you by. Gave you everything you needed to learn. Specifically the broadcasts. The truck that we were in was an old dilapidated 7 truck from Channel 7 that TAFE managed to get their hands on.
So when you say broadcasts, it's like actual like news reports and like basically how they do the proper
legitimately we have they have a studio at the Northbridge TAFE, which is like actually like full on all white studio sort of thing. They were repainting the walls and they fucked it up and only painted halfway.
Oh wow.
But we don't talk about that because it's not on camera, so you don't worry about it.
When you say white studio though, it's all white?
It's all white.
Okay, I always thought it'd be all green or something like that.
No,
it's like unique.
But you can set up green screens. There's plenty of room. It's like 10. No, way longer than 10 meters. What am I talking about? It's like 20 by 20 studio. Wow, okay.
So how would you go about setting up a little broadcasting section for yourself? How would you go? Would you put up green screens everywhere, or would you paint it all white?
If I were to do something like this,
yeah, Well, no,
I mean,
Everything's CGI.
Yeah, would you want a CGI? Should we have like instead of like if there's empty chair next to you, just CGI robot?
Yeah, exactly,
the podcast.
The lava lamps are CGI. Like, these aren't even real.
Yeah.
Well, the podcast setup is actually just a picture of your podcast setup, and we're not
Exactly,
actually, no one's actually there because then no one has to see me.
Yeah, copy
So I can go on in no clothes or
We
pajamas.
we
and not have to worry about it.
We're ADRing every single line.
Every single line is
in
ADR,
real time.
In real time. No, but yeah, I mean, literally what you guys have here is really solid. Like I was saying it to you before we started, but
thank you.
the microphones are
Can you look into the camera and say this for us to say that this is just a great setup so we can get more guests on?
This is a pretty fine and dandy setup, lads.
Is the microphone and the audio working, Vision? Yep.
I mean,
just double checking.
we really want that endorsement. We want that Brandon Slomp endorsement. That's the best.
That's 100%.
I don't know how much my endorsement means, but
well,
so let's get back on topic.
Let's get back to the topic about esports and broadcasting.
I reckon the second half.
What do they have? What be my professional life first?
Exactly.
Yeah. So then, with doing AV and stuff like that, like how long was the course, and like what were the ups and downs kind of thing of like, was it easy to do? Like,
I mean, as I said, I would probably be a bit different than most people because I skipped the diploma.
Yeah,
I went straight
into advanced. Like,
I mean, I knew how to operate a digital desk.
Yeah.
But that was basically it, you know. I knew how to set up a few like broadcast microphones, but I'd never set up like a recording studio before, you know. And so they taught you all the skills for that, taught you how to do that. I certainly think my favorite area is live sound because it still ties into what I've learned in the broadcast area. Yeah. While also still keeping a focus on the music and stuff like that.
Okay.
So, which is a big part of why I decided to do sound is I love music. So.
Yeah. So would you ever like actually try and use that advanced diploma to go into more sound and music kind of areas?
Oh yeah. Well, I do want to get more into live sound. I'm just sorting out myself before I worry about trying to sort out. Trying to do that sort of stuff.
Yeah, because it always starts as a hobby, and then it's like, you know, networking, socializing, and then you can actually get paid work. And
well, I'm
a bit of a trek kind of thing.
The setting up bit is sort of what I'm doing now on one of my jobs with an event company. I do a lot of bumping in and bumping out for music gigs, festival gigs, stuff like that.
Are you allowed to say what company?
No, in case I say bad things later. But
you won't say bad things.
I won't say bad things.
Yeah. No, it's all good.
But it's I mean, it's just a local event company. It's just one of the big few ones in Perth. So there's not many. So wouldn't be too hard to find.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, it's I've done stuff like different big festivals. Like I did a D-Rig to Stage on Origin or something.
Oh really?
Stuff like that, you know.
That's pretty cool then.
Yeah, it was more just pulling the bugger down was what I did.
You're learning though. You're learning the ins and outs of how they set up the AV systems, like pulling it down. I'm assuming if you just follow that whole line check, that you can just kind of discover how everything kind of works.
Line check? That true? What's a line
check? You mean like a flow diagram?
Yeah, sorry, the signal flow diagram.
Line check is
when you're actually checking every
plugged
line
in and you're making sure that signal's coming out of it. So.
Okay.
Which you probably should be doing live.
You would want to be doing.
Yeah.
You probably would. Yeah. I was almost going to go to Origin actually because Tyler the Creator was there.
It is fun. It's good fun.
I was almost going to spend $200 to only see Tyler the Creator for an hour.
Yeah.
But oh my god, I love Igor. That's not what we're here to talk about.
Not yet, at least.
So you helped pack up Origin then. So
I did do some of that. Yeah.
Have you ever done any other festivals or big nights or anything like that?
Well, there's like a bunch of other stuff. Like I did some of the I did the setup for some of the bits of Australia Day down in South Perth.
Really?
Helped do the D-Rig for one of the staging areas for the Australia Day, that sort of stuff.
When you were setting up, what was it actually like there? Was it a lot of work or was it just...
Yeah, it's a lot of physical labour.
Yeah, just like moving speakers and rigging equipment and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to be like it's like a roof plumbing job or anything. Those guys have it way worse than I do. But the fact of the matter is, I'm
glad
still
you're honest.
Yeah. No, I'm not gonna pretend that I do as much work as like that.
Because if you're a trader, you're a piece of shit. You know that?
Oh god damn it!
Thanks, Damon.
That's words coming out of Brandon Slomp.
That is not what I said. I said I appreciate
of us going downhill.
I appreciate the hard effort and work that tradies and anyone of that sort of such nature puts into their job. And
good
if
PR
you're a
there.
good tradie, then I like you. But if you're one that I'm not. If you're a shit tradie, then get fucked.
Yeah,
But,
we don't want you.
Oh, sorry, my
Between
bad.
the cameras, maybe.
My bad. Sorry.
No, you're
Yeah.
good. You're fine.
Stepped out of line. But anyway,
yeah, bad mouthing trades it.
Bad mouthing tradies.
Oh no, sorry. But please get back to
I
the.
appreciate good, hard, honest work. Is the moral of the story.
You know
But yes. So with the Australia Day one, it was a bit different. Normally we're on stages and stuff, right? But for the Australia Day one, we were along. I don't know if you've ever been down to the South Perth Esplanade, I think it's called. It's just along.
yeah.
It's, just,
I've
it's
actually
along
done.
there.
I've been to a wedding there actually. So
Oh, really?
yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, do you know where that they have like where you catch the Transperth ferry, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Just there. That's where we were. We were running. It's going to sound really simple when I say it to you, right?
Yeah.
It's 12 speakers on stands, right? And they're all hooked up to just two little cases of gear or towers of gear.
But it's all 12 speakers are on stands though.
Yes.
So then, how are they scattered out? It's just like
They're spread apart.
Yeah.
Well, they're like chained to one another, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
Yeah,
how your daisy chain power?
Yeah.
It's similar, but actually safe.
Yeah.
But so they're all linked together, and they're spread out maybe about 5-10 meters from each other per one.
So it was actually like a barrier kind of thing.
It
like
was
12
Well, it was
speakers on the
along
wall.
where the jetty was, down past where like the playground is, down for a fair while.
How many people rocked up to the event?
A lot, because it was for the Skyworks.
Yeah.
So there was heaps of people there. But so basically it's those 12 speakers with 2 towers of gear, like only small little towers. And they're all run through, like the South Perth guys have their connections and all that sort of stuff underneath the ground and all that.
Yeah.
So that's all connected. But of course there comes the safety hazard, which is where the hard part is, with cables, right? And so all the speakers were spread out about 50 meters in total, about. So guess what 5 of us had to do for 2 hours? Lug around 50 meters of cable tray in the sun at 12 o'clock.
50 meters of cable tray. So how much do you reckon they would have weighed each then? Like,
I
at
mean,
least
they were
20
luckily
kilos?
only thin pieces of cable tray, but they were still meter-long pieces of cable tray, 50 of them, and we had to lay them all out, basically, which is not...
Do you have this tape?
It was actually a really easy job, but it was just the fact that you had to go down to the floor every meter and lay down a cable tray. I mean, there's a lot of us, so we got it done really quick. So I can't complain too much because that was fine. But it was just funny because we were all just like, it's a 4-hour rostered shift, and there's 5 of us. What kind of big stage are they making us build? And there was just this little thrifty van rolls up instead of like the big
truck.
hella ton truck that I was expecting, and it was just this one van. We're just like, this is a bit strange. And the manager guy comes up, so there isn't. There's 5 of you. Opens the back, and there's shit tons of cable tray. There's so much. I think it's chockers full of cable tray. It's like, you got 50 meters of cable tray, and we're just like, great way to spend our Australia Day. But
So then with that though, do you have to like put on like the safety barrier? Because you know, like at festivals and stuff, they have like the yellow and black like cover for cables and stuff.
That's cable tray.
Oh, they're cable.
That's
trays.
cable trays. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, holy shit. Okay, so you had to lay all them out then.
Yeah, we had to lay all them out.
Yeah.
50 meters.
Do you have to sticky tape them down?
Yeah, that's it. Just masking tape them to the
Yeah, you have to
glass.
masking tape.
You listen. We have a saying, and if it don't work, just duct tape.
Yeah.
It works.
Duct
It works
tape
on
works.
everything.
Yeah,
It does.
100%.
But we didn't duct tape them. No, we just had to lay them out, and then They didn't bring any shot bags for the stands, so we had to improvise with fence blocks.
Oh wow! Oh yeah, actually, did it work?
Shot bags like
like
sandbags,
yeah,
basically,
okay.
but they're like filled with like bowls and stuff as opposed to sand.
Yeah.
Did it work?
We used if you've ever seen any of those like metal fences that you see around parks and stuff, like the higher fences.
Yeah.
You know how they have those big orange blocks?
Yeah.
We had to fandangle those onto speaker stands because we had just 12 of those and we just had to use those.
Holy crap!
It looked really shitty, but it worked. It worked out, so that's what you can ask for.
That's not too bad though. So then, like after that, did you just pack up the day after, or like what happened at the end of the Skyworks?
No, at the end of the Skyworks, I went back because the things that we'd set up the things early in the morning, and then we were done by like 12.
Yeah.
And then I came back at about 8 at night. Actually, I was with Briar, the guy we both go to at TAFE, and he was doing, because there was a lot of stuff going on that weekend because it was Australia Day.
Yeah.
Including the one South Perth thing, there was where we were on the jetty, and then there was another gig which was run by like Lottery West and stuff. Over in Sir James Mitchell Park, which was about 10-minute walk to and from. And I knew I couldn't drive because they blocked all the streets off, right? So the closest parking I would get would be yonks away. And so I just decided, I called Raya, I was like, are you working tonight? And he was like, yeah. And so we just went, caught an Uber, and then we got as close as we could, went our separate ways. Which was fine though, because I ended up having to go to help his guys out after we'd finished packing our stuff up, because it was really simple. It was a lot easier to pull it all back up at night than put it all down during the day, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So we picked all that up, it took us about an hour, and then we had to go to Sir James Mitchell Park, right? And we did that, and we got there, and there was so much shit. And they only had one truck.
Rubbish or just
no,
so much
so much equipment.
There
was so much.
Lottery West, they would have gone all out.
They kind of did. They had a marquee and stuff. The marquee wasn't ours, but we put up all the lighting, all the speakers. There was a stage. There was hoists for something. I'm not sure what the hoists were for. And so we had to pack all that down. That took us about 3 hours. To pack all that down.
So you didn't really finish until like midnight, 1 a.m. or something.
The story does not end there.
Okay. Yeah,
so we finished ours at about 9, right? 9:30ish. Then we went back. Me and there was 3 of us on there, right? Me, another guy, and then the guy that had been running the thing all day. And we were like, we'll give you a choice. One of us has to sit here and watch this gear while we go pack up the other one, because we were all putting it in the truck from the other gig. And we said, we'll give you a choice. It's up to you. We can go if you don't want to go. We can stay if you don't want to stay. And he said, I'll stay. You guys go. So we went. We finished packing up. My shift was meant to end it was meant to be 8 till 12, I think, was my shift. So we finished packing up that gig alone at 12:30. And then we had to walk back to where we were on the Main Street jetty, and then get all the stuff from there into the truck, which was almost nearly full. And then we had to launch the 12 speakers stands, two cases of gear, a tent, and then 50 meters of cable tray, and we barely fit it all in. It was so close to all falling out.
Really?
And like when we opened the truck up, because then we had to go back to the warehouse and pull it all out at the warehouse.
Yeah. And put it away and everything.
Yeah,
right?
And then the dude that was the senior guy who was the truck driver, the only one of us with a truck license. He said, well, I've been there since 5 a.m, so I'm going to shoot off. Yeah. And I was like, understandable. But then he was like, make sure you don't just chuck the gear in the warehouse, actually pack it where it's meant to go. And I was the most experienced. I'd worked about 9 shifts with these guys. I was the most experienced.
9 shifts.
I had never
been in the
no
warehouse.
Clue where everything went. Yeah. And so it was me and 3 other dudes trying to like half figure out where shit went, and then it reached about 2 o'clock in the morning, and we were like, nah, fuck this, we're just chucking it all in there. We put that stuff in that bay where like all the truss and the staging's meant to go. We don't know where specifically, but it's there. This shit's where all the rest of it goes. It's all going in. And then we came to the next problem of none of us had a truck license.
Yeah, so
and we had an on truck with its tailgate down.
Yeah.
In the middle of the warehouse. Yeah. And so we had to then, one of the other dudes luckily came in from a different rig with a whole heap of truss and shit. So we helped him out. In exchange, he stayed another hour. He could have gone home. He stayed another hour to stay there and move the truck when we were done. Fuck. So yeah.
What time you end up all finishing up though? Like 3 a.m.
About 3:30.
Yeah.
In the morning.
Yeah.
When did you
start? And then I also work as a barista, and then I had to go do my barista job at 7 a.m.
Holy shit!
Wait, what time did you start that shift too? Like when did you start the Australia Day shift?
I mean, in the morning it was like only 2 hours, but in the night time I started at 8. So.
Oh, okay. Did you have a little nap now?
No.
Alright.
I just went and did it. I was just like, we'll be here until 12, we'll be fine. And we were there until 3:30, and it was not fine.
How are you the next day? How are you for
head.
barista work?
Terrible.
Move the head.
Did you accidentally spill the coffee on some people?
No. God, no. I just, I was like the first person to go there because my supervisor could see I was absolutely destroyed. I was fucking gone.
Yeah. So he's just like, yeah, you can go home early. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you've done it right.
You need sleep. Like
yeah, no, I really did. It was crazy. I'd slept like a baby. It was great.
So then what else? What else have you done? Because that's pretty awesome though. If you've done like the South Perth Australia Day, foreshore kind of thing, you've helped de-rig Bloody Origin, which is a huge thing. Like,
well, we did. I've done a few other things. There's been stuff in Belmont. They had like a big setup in Belmont. Like it was their own little sort of small fringe festival that they did.
Okay.
And there was 5 actual circus tents that all had a stage in it, and that was like 8 hours just setting it up. And then I came back the next day or 2 days later, helped dig-rig it. All the gear came in 2 trucks. We only had 1 truck. So we put everything of value into the 1 truck and then left all like the trussing and staging and shit to fucking perish. We went back to the warehouse and just packed everything else away, and then the guys on Monday morning had to come and pick up what we left of them because we couldn't fit it.
Were they mad or they pissed off?
Probably, I don't know. I would assume so. I mean, to be fair, it wasn't our fault. I mean, we couldn't do anything. There's nothing we could do. We only had 1 truck. They only gave us 1 truck. It came in 2.
Yeah.
2 completely full trucks, might I add.
So how does that even work though? It's alright, don't worry, like we send 2 trucks out and okay, we've got to pack it up, can't use the other truck, stuff them, they can fit it all in 1 truck.
They can take it home. They can take it home in their own cars.
Yeah, really. I could fit a whole like 3 meter truss in my 1.5 meter long Ford Focus.
That's it,
There you go, buddy.
So that's not crazy. Too bad. So like,
I mean, it's good. It's good work. It pays pretty well. It's like $30 an hour.
Good experience.
Flat rate, but it's pretty good. Yeah, it's good experience.
Yeah.
Especially because it's like, this is one of the best places to start because it's more like it's on the steps, you know.
Yeah,
exactly.
Of course.
Go
up the steps.
Do the basics.
Yeah. Basic stuff. Yeah.
Well, how far do you want to try and take it if you could, like fully like setting up and actually planning and doing rig setups and stuff like that, or?
I know it sounds really silly, but one of the best sort of jobs I could think about having would be like a venue manager at like a high school for like an auditorium or something.
Really?
That'd be sick.
I think that would be a pretty good job because it's like you'd be there full time or part time.
Yeah.
You'll be doing a lot of work in the same area, so you get to know the area really well.
Yeah.
And if it's a good high school or like a good private school or something, they will probably try and provide you with sufficient equipment, you know. All right, and at least you'll be able to like tell them that you need new bits and pieces and don't get just crap stuff, you know.
I can imagine that would be very cruisy as well. And like it'd be good because you get school holidays off, and you wouldn't have to really plan anything too stressful. Kind of thing.
I mean, it's just you probably still go.
You have to look after a play. You gotta look after Romeo and Juliet's play, and that's it.
You'd be doing high school plays. You'll be doing like high school concerts. Not that they probably have the sufficient gear. I mean, at least for my high school, they didn't have the gear to mic up a whole like a swing band or something, you know.
I was like shocked when my high school had the lavaliers. The remote mic control.
I don't know what that is.
The lavalier.
Lavalier
mics.
How do you spell lavalier?
Lavalier.
Lavalier mic.
Yeah, lavaliers. Lavaliers.
Never heard of a lavalier.
Yeah.
You mean a lapel mic?
A lapel mic. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm not too
Lapel
fancy.
Makes sense a bit more.
I'm sorry. I'm a bit too fancy.
I've never heard it called a lavalier.
That's what they called it back. That's literally what we had to call it. Yeah,
They're
lavaliers.
just lapels.
Yeah, lapels. Whatever you want to.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
There's that episode of Simpsons. Oh, garage. Look at this fancy guy over here. Well, what do you call it? A car hold. Remember that episode of Simpsons where
we love a good Simpsons
where Marge becomes a cop?
Yeah, I know the episode.
Wait,
Thank you, Ben.
See if we can pull it up.
Pull up that scene. Pull up this.
Look for the scene.
Yeah, let's pull up that scene. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Brandon. This is a very important bit.
It's understandable.
Yeah, but yeah, I remember my high school. I was blowing my mind when I saw we had lavalier mics because I'd never seen our high school have anything like that
those
before.
would have been quite cheap though.
They are very cheap. But
they are pretty cheap, yeah.
But I've just never seen them before, and I just assumed they were very expensive.
Oh my god, cheap microphones.
Yeah, well, hey man.
Oh, it's professional. It's great.
Hey man, you think?
Wow, amazing.
We finally made it.
You don't know the difference when you're not into the profession, I guess.
Yeah.
We know the biz.
Yeah, we know the biz.
All right, here we go.
Carl.
Did you swap the camera to it? Yeah.
What do you call it? A car hole.
Fucking. Oh my god, I love Mo.
Oh, man,
I love Mo.
Mo.
Mo's so funny.
Oh dear God, no!
Oh no!
Oh dear God, no!
Let's go for a minute. Don't worry about that.
We're too long.
All right, sorry, Brandon. No more EA Sports. We're just gonna watch Simpsons.
We're just gonna watch Simpsons. That's all we're here
Nothing but
for.
Simpsons.
Stop.
So, with doing all that though, so like, you want to, it'd be pretty good being like, you know, a high school or primary school, like working actually at a private school kind of thing, doing something like that.
I mean, those schools pay a lot of money for teachers and stuff. So.
Yeah, if you're at a private school. 100%.
Sacred Heart's got a lot of money.
But would you ever consider being a teacher as well, of like music or anything? Or
would you ever go into?
Oh, man, I don't know how to play a lot of music.
But you don't,
but
or you do?
I don't.
You said
I know how to play a bit.
You said your favorite subject was media. Would you ever become a media teacher in high school?
See, that would be more likely because...
Especially you study broadcasting.
I mean, I work in the broadcast still, so...
Yeah. Work in the biz.
I'm in the biz. But, no, I mean, it's never been a thought that's really crossed my mind. Like, at least not right now. I mean, maybe later in life, it might be worth doing it. So.
Yeah.
Are we sowing the seeds right now? Is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
Sowing the seeds of ideas.
In 15 years, you're gonna wake up.
Now listen, boss, don't give me ideas. It's not a smart idea to do.
I was on this podcast, watched it. Now I'm gonna be a high school.
That's it.
You're walking into this high school. It's like you
just throw them like a bit of paper with a screenshot of the YouTube channel and be like, I was on this. Give me a job.
I was on this 15 years. We were discussing this one scenario. This exact scenario.
One particular thing that we
15 years ago, which we also estimated on that time frame.
I will come back in 15 years.
Yes. And then boom, media job.
Yeah,
media
crazy.
teacher. Yeah, but who knows, man? We never know where life takes you.
You never know.
That's exactly it. You never.
You just gotta go with the flow.
Yeah, man.
So, what other type of events and stuff have you done? Have you done much else at all? Because how long have you been working for this company for?
Not for too long. Maybe like a few months. It was really towards the end of TAFE that I sort of applied with them, and they were looking for casuals and all that. So.
Did you just know someone in the industry to be able to get the gig?
I mean, luckily, most of our lecturers at TAFE, at least in the Leaderville one, were actually still relevant in the industry. You know, like we got it through one of the Cert 3 lecturers, who's a mate of ours called Kyle. He works with them as well as working at TAFE. He does audio tech stuff for them. Okay. So he basically said. To the boss, and he was just like, I got heaps of guys at TAFE that could go with work. Come talk to him here. Yeah. And so he did, and now like half the class works with this company.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty hectic. Half the class.
Yeah.
But it's good though, because that's what you need though. It's like someone to be able to actually help you get your foot in the door from education into the workplace.
100%. It's everything.
Into the workplace.
I did have that with broadcast as well, and I work with NEP, which is one of the biggest, probably the leading broadcast company.
Really?
For Australia.
Wait,
so
what was their name again?
NEP. They do.
Google that?
They're basically Fox.
Oh, really?
They work with Fox all the time.
And you said you've done sports broadcasting. You're saying you're doing the rugby on the weekend.
I'm doing the rugby on Saturday. Yeah,
that's nice.
So
who's playing?
How are you doing the rugby on Saturday though? Are you setting it up or commentating?
No, I'm not actually setting it up. I'm doing just the audio tech job on the rugby.
Okay, so you're going to be a sound guy.
I'm a sound guy in the rugby. I'm a field sound guy.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool though.
If anyone's ever...
The NEP group?
Yeah, NEP group.
Wow, they're based in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And they're international. Wow.
They are international.
They have 3,000 employees and one of them sitting right here.
Thanks, man. No, I'm not an employee. I'm a freelancer. So
You're a free agent.
I'm a free agent.
You're a man. You're a mercenary.
It's like it's a worldwide.
World recognized company.
Yeah, and with that, if you get your foot in the door with them, that's
I've been working with them not on and off, but like just casual. Whenever they need me, they call me. You know, I've been with them for about almost 2 years now, I think. So
that's pretty cool.
Ever since at the end of doing broadcast TV diploma, I advanced it. Then I started working with them, and I'm still working with them to this day. So
would you ever try and work the way up through 7 News or Channel 9 and be like one of the actual guys that sit there with the camera and work on the stage and stuff?
I'm not very into the camera stuff personally. Oh, really? Honestly, I'm not a big fan of camera.
Production managing though.
I was pretty good at that at TAFE, but it just seems like such a headache. I was like, I don't know if I could handle all that stress. I mean, I'd probably be very good at it. I've been told that I'm very good at organizing and shit, but it's like I don't know if I can
handle it every time.
I don't know if I could handle that, like as a job. Like, oh my god, I love having stress as my job. Unneeded stress and relying on other people. It sounds like a great job.
As you're not a fan of camera operating either. Oh,
No.
yeah. There you go. What do you like, Brandon?
Yeah.
I like the ear signs with the sounds.
Yeah, yeah.
With that
the
audio
waves.
thing.
Yeah,
With
wiggly.
the waves.
Yeah.
The commotion in the ocean.
The
you know
sine
what I'm
waves.
saying?
Don't they just call it wiggly air though?
Yeah,
We
wiggly
love
air.
wiggly air.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My face is getting blasted with wiggly air right now.
Yeah,
Thanks.
yeah.
Good job, Brandon.
when the speaker blows air at you, it's called a SoundCloud, don't they?
There you go. Yeah.
There you go. That's where they got the name from.
Hey, you hear that? It's like you seen that one? It's the Winnie the Pooh meme.
No, I sent you that
Yeah,
one.
you did.
I
Yeah, the
sent you
fart SoundCloud.
Yeah. it's
Yeah.
funny.
Dried cum, cement.
What the fuck?
Thanks, David.
Sorry.
Cheers for that.
Yeah, it's it, man. Yeah, sorry. Back to wiggly air.
Yeah, back to
wiggly.
Back to wiggly air.
Back to wiggly air.
So you've
I
been-
mean, there's not much more to talk about with any of my current jobs. I mean, unless you want to know about how to make a good coffee. I mean,
mate. Do you? What's the?
I will be right back in 5 seconds, right?
Beautiful.
Understandable,
guys,
Chief.
This is something that I've done.
Alright,
I've done.
Damien
a little bit.
has to take the
Damien
reins.
has to take the reins.
I've hit the
About to sit
microphone
here.
already. It's
Alright,
terrible.
fine. Okay, I gotta take the reins.
All right,
God.
Damien, take the reins.
So, oh God, so much pressure.
All right, Damien.
Ah,
Ask me a question, Damien.
what's your name?
My name is Jeff.
No,
All
but
right, ask me an actual question.
let's ask you
Damien,
an actual question.
and I'll give you an actual answer.
Beautiful. Well, basically, you've been working in broadcast now for about 2 years. Would you say
Yeah.
that we've talked about this a lot? The broadcasting industry is sort of going a bit downhill, especially with the rise of internet streaming platforms. Do you think it's going much like this podcast setup? Do you think it's going from a cabled television base to an actual premium subscription base?
I mean, it already
online?
has been.
Yeah.
Like, there's services like KO and even
Gumroad.
Fox itself.
Yeah, Fox is going completely online.
Yeah, it's pretty much. And
Yeah.
that's where most of the footy and
Yeah,
all that sort of stuff is run through. Like,
Yeah.
especially like soccer, footy.
absolutely.
That stuff's run through Fox most
Yeah,
of the time, unless
exactly.
it's like a 7 game or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But even then, they don't have the rights to the whole season. You know, can't do much.
And do you think that?
Oh,
Yeah,
he's
but-
back.
But sorry, mate. Yeah, good. Yeah, but we were talking about because I was listening to a podcast on the ride over to yours.
Yeah.
We're talking
What
about.
podcast was this, huh?
This is called. This is one of my.
rival. Are they in Perth as well?
Yeah,
Can
they're.
we go and beat them up?
No, they're based in New York. But I'm going to New York
He's
in
gonna go to
June.
New York and beat
I'm
the
going
shit
in
out of
June. So if you're can't bot. If you're listening to us right now, I love you, and I will find out where you live, and I will murder you, and I will take your
Out of
spot.
love.
Out of love, because we know we're the king dogs.
A little bit, but
Yeah,
alright.
yeah. As we were saying,
Getting a little bit heated.
a little bit.
Yeah,
Heated.
just a little bit.
Just a little heated.
A little bit.
Yeah, but you've moved into the whole broadcasting of esports on Twitch. Do you think that these new platforms, DLive, Twitch, Gumroad, YouTube now has gone massively into streaming and
Yeah.
has seen some amazing results? Do you think that the future's always going to be online?
Oh, yeah.
But how big do you think they're going to be? Because we've seen YouTube go into professional production companies with Infra-Red. Do you think there's actually going to be any third-party production companies moving entirely onto these streaming platforms?
Well, there already has been stuff like that. I mean, not necessarily like
Yeah.
in a broadcast standpoint.
Back
There's
away, sorry.
there's a lot of companies like Rooster Teeth, stuff
Yeah.
like that. They do all their own. They make their own shows, everything like that. Everything is their own original shows, and they
Yeah.
just do it on their own website or their own streaming service.
Yeah.
Companies can do that nowadays if
Yeah.
they're big enough. They can just decide, well, I'm not even going to use YouTube. I'm going to use my own streaming service.
Well, see, isn't that what happened with Netflix as well? Where it's
Yeah.
like you have Netflix originals, and it's like they had.
Yeah,
I think
they
it's
make
the
their own shows.
It's
Yeah.
like the Oscars last night or something like that.
Yeah.
It was some sort of award ceremony. I can't
It was the
remember what
Oscars.
it
was last
The
night,
Oscars
yeah.
was last
and
night.
they got nominated for like 6 or 7
Yeah.
or something like that, and they didn't win a single one.
They're
Yeah.
saying they want to have a streaming-based program. They were
Yeah.
hoping to put in a new category.
Yeah, because it's also, what was that movie called, Benjamin, with Robert De Niro?
Oh, The Irishman.
The Irishman. And
Yeah.
that was in
Great
Netflix
movie.
original. That was a great film.
It's a
That's
great
a
film.
really good film, and that should have
They
gotten an
make
Oscar.
some. They make some
but
really good movies and
Mine's-
shows and all that.
Martin Scorsese. Imagine that you seen Martin Scorsese falling asleep during the Eminem performance at the Oscars. He didn't even win an Oscars. Why'd you bring out Martin Scorsese then?
Wait, what did Eminem sing?
I don't know.
No, Eminem sung "Lose Yourself."
Did he?
Oh
my god!
First time in like 18 years.
That's sick, like that. Dude. Imagine Martin Scorsese being like, "Yeah, I like this song. It's a good song."
Martin Scorsese would not like an Eminem.
No, he wouldn't.
It's like,
but that's the thing though. Like, I had this discussion with a good friend of mine, Andre Maz. Right, I played "Lose Yourself" when I was at one of my gigs playing to the streets of Fremantle, and apparently one of the owners didn't actually like me playing Eminem. But out of all Eminem songs, that's probably one of his best tracks.
What, Lose Yourself?
Lose Yourself.
It's
his
definitely
iconic song. Like,
and it's definitely...
Didn't that win an Academy Award because of 8 Mile?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's
8 Mile won an Academy
Award.
And
I think it was because
of
the soundtrack.
That's an amazing film as well, and the soundtrack would have helped that so much, and that's what I'm getting at. It's
and
like,
that propelled Eminem into new heights.
for him to go and sing that again at the Oscars, that is,
it's
you
a
know,
pretty
that's
big occasion.
stepping back up kind of thing to, you know, to the reins in a way.
Yeah.
As, you know, the white rapper. By the way, did you read Mitch's comment, Damo?
Yeet.
No.
Oh, so no, we're gonna get flagged. Hey, man.
Flagged because of you.
Oh, man.
I mean, I don't know.
No, we won't get flagged, but we
a
just
little
want to
bit.
get monetized.
We're not gonna get money.
We can't make money off this now.
It's alright. Don't they like allow bad words now on YouTube? And they just don't
um,
do it. They just like, as long as you target it towards the right audience, they don't demonetize
I heard
you.
that. I
Maybe.
heard they're slowly moving into that because everyone's lost massive amounts of money could add
By
politics.
the way, shout out to Lachlan Robinson as well. Just joining out. Yeah, what's up?
Shout out to
Shout out to Lachlan Robinson.
But funnily enough, talking about YouTube, isn't it because we have a generation now, like guys like us? I was talking to you about Newgrounds beforehand. We literally had a generation of animators go from Newgrounds into, you know, Adult Swim and whatnot, you know, Stampy,
bigger and better things. What
yeah,
even
Oni,
Did
NG.
you guys ever hear about Super Deluxe at all?
Yeah, Super Deluxe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that would have started out as probably just similar things, small little animation, like little media company, and then they just started covering the Trump versus Hillary bloody election,
and then
it blew up.
yeah, and they got on
Blew
editors.
up.
They got on editors from Tim and Eric, and they became their own production moguls essentially.
Yeah, exactly.
No, YouTube will flag words like. Oh,
those
can't
bad
s-
words
we
that
can't.
you're not allowed to
And it's
say.
a good thing I stopped myself from saying it. Otherwise, we would have gotten flagged.
I think you did.
No, I didn't. I said it earlier, but that's fine.
Okay, so we're not flagged now, but we were flagged.
We were flagged.
Until we started talking about YouTube and how great of a service they are.
YouTube is wonderful. Sponsor us.
Amazing
You know,
service.
I'm
Thanks,
so glad
YouTube.
it is ending cable television because, quite frankly, YouTube is the only thing I trust and love.
YouTube deserves more money.
Yes. Listen,
I am a
man.
big fan.
If I had a
Big
child, I
fan.
would sell them to YouTube.
Big fan of
Humongous
YouTube.
like
Red.
I would Rumpelstiltskin my child to you.
Yeah.
Come on.
I would let you spin them into gold.
Yeah. Make more money off my child.
Hey,
No,
Like,
I
like
want
all good family YouTubers do.
I
Exactly.
think Mitch is trying to tell us what we can and can't do.
Can't
He-
monetize.
I'll
Until
tell
it's-
him we can monetize now.
We're
We are
monetizing now, so
yeah,
we
we're
can say
monetizing
whatever we
now.
want, Mitchell.
Oh,
We're
right.
monetizing.
Oh man, but
YouTube will become the next cable. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure it already has.
Well, see, I kind of thought
I agree.
Netflix was already cable though. kind
no,
of.
I think
I mean,
it
Netflix has replaced the need for
Cabling.
TV channels that show movies and stuff. Because
Yeah.
a lot of the times, for a lot of people, they'd go watch 9. They'd be like, "This
Yeah.
is a feature movie of iRobot featuring Will Smith
yeah.
on Channel 9." Don't ask me why specifically iRobot with Will Smith,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Yeah,
iRobot with
we
Will
did
Smith.
show up quite often.
Should we
it
start talking
really
about
does.
AI?
But
Let's
but,
actually later on we'll talk about AI.
Yeah, it's
understandable.
Yeah.
But so like that's how you would watch a movie back in the day.
Yeah,
Back in the olden
Old days.
Or
times.
you grab a DVD from
Old
Bali.
days.
The scrolls should tell you that at 9 p.m. tonight on Channel 10 there was iRobot with Will Smith, and then you would go and you would have to sit through 30 minutes of ads
Yeah.
in between the movie,
Yeah,
and you would cry.
yeah.
Yeah,
you
But
would.
now you don't have to do that because people just illegally put it on YouTube
Yeah.
Or, but then
'Cause thank
then
you,
have
or
to-
Netflix.
Yeah, but
Thank you,
still have
YouTube.
to watch ads on YouTube as well.
You
though.
do. You
And
have to
sometimes
do.
you have to watch 2 ads, and it's so annoying.
They are
You-
very
yeah,
annoying.
haven't they also got rid of ad blocker so that doesn't work
Yeah,
anymore?
ad block is much harder. Well, no.
No, it works. It detects if ad block is on. I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, depends on what it is.
It's like some websites will be like, "We're not letting you in if you have ad blocker," and then YouTube, I think, has finally realized that they can actually do that. So
yeah.
So
Exactly.
Lachlan Robinson has just asked us a
Are we
question.
music-
Are we music producers? I have tried producing for about 6 years, and I've just found it way too hard to be able to juggle between the DJing and with me. I'm a professional DJ and been DJing for about 8 to 9 years now, and I play all around Perth, and I'm established within the industry. Damo, are you a music producer?
I dabble.
We
could be. We've dabbled in it.
We have dabbled.
This actually is a music-oriented podcast, but it's music, media, and entertainment basically.
Yeah.
So I've come and ruined everything for everyone.
Yeah, talking about Netflix.
No, it's good though, because we've been wanting to swap things up a bit and change things up. Yeah. I mean, we're up to episode 15, and the last 14 episodes have all been DJs, photographers, video editors, that kind of thing.
So actual broadcasters.
Yeah, broadcasting and AV is still very interesting.
And
kind of stuff.
You're about to get into the real meat of what I have to say very soon.
About
the video games and stuff.
We've got 16 minutes, then we'll go into the real
very
meat.
16 minutes. We're trying to.
This will be a hard 16 minutes to contain yourself, boys. Something. Actually, if I can say something that I'm actually quite interested in, actually,
please do.
A little bit of fun time of mine. Fun pastime is I do enjoy analyzing voice acting a little bit.
Yeah, I heard about
big fan of voice acting.
Just quickly as well, because Lachlan, what is he saying? So that's the hard part. Yeah, no, 100%. Juggling everything. It's like having a full-time job and then trying to have another job on top of a full-time job. Being able to actually, because like what you were saying as well, being a barista, right? And then we're doing the actual setup and the pack up of like the different festivals. You have to juggle the roster, right?
I have 3 casual jobs that I have to juggle between. So.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. If you've got 3 casual jobs, then do you get much other time to do other? You wouldn't be able to produce music, would you?
Oh no way. I don't have the equipment to anyway. So I mean, one day, the goal for me at the moment is what I'm going to save towards is first upgrading my streaming equipment and my streaming setup for tournament streaming. Yeah. Which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
And then the next thing will be probably working on my own sort of getting my own sort of production stuff ready, getting my own microphones and audio interface.
See, that sounds awesome. Like that. And you can make a lot of money from doing that.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to be anything like. It'll probably just be more. I can then even like promote myself as someone that can mix, but not necessarily record, but I can mix,
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's actually start diving into it now, because it sounds like you've got a lot to talk about it with the whole gaming and esports and everything.
Oh, you want to talk about it now?
Let's do it.
This is all good banter.
Just get my hydration.
I have a question.
Alrighty, Chief.
If good way to start. So you're a Twitch streamer, correct?
I'm not necessarily a Twitch streamer, but we do stream on Twitch, yes.
Okay. What was the game that got you into being a gamer?
Yeah. If I can, it sounds really silly, but my very first game I ever owned was Super Smash Bros. Melee for the Nintendo GameCube.
That was the very first game I ever owned.
Wow.
Yeah. For me, it was bloody. For me and my brother, I'm pretty sure it was Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Yeah, but that's a good game too. Yeah. That came out the year I was born, I think. Actually,
really, you're 92. Was it? No, it's
99 is when Ocarina of Time came out. Because that's when the N64 came out. I'm pretty sure.
So I was 5.
I was gonna say what?
As I said, I'm 21 in a month. So
no shit. Yeah. Here's me being 27 over here.
Everyone calls me a fucking baby. Oh, sorry. Everyone calls me a baby.
Nah.
Yeah, please do not use that word baby in the same sentence. We'll be flagged by YouTube.
Yeah, baby.
The word baby.
Yeah, we're getting flagged.
The word baby.
Bad.
Listen,
word.
you never put baby in a corner, and you never put baby in a YouTube video. Like it just correlates.
Yeah.
But So that was the very first video game I ever owned. It was Smash Melee on the GameCube.
Yeah.
And how many hours do you reckon you sunk into it?
I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Like
but I played that game so much when even like all the way up until now. I mean, I don't play
Did you
Melee
have like the best home run record as well?
I love that. I replayed the adventure mode a lot in Melee.
Yeah, the adventure mode,
so good.
It was amazing. I loved it. Like that when we had our GameCube, right? We trialed a few different games here and there, but Melee was what we stuck with basically.
Love Melee.
It was just the perfect party game because you invite your friends over. And they just come over and hang out, and then you just beat the shit out of each other.
Yeah. This is good.
Look up home run.
Home run contest. I'll look up the home run records in Melee.
Yeah.
Home run contest world record.
Yeah, bring that up.
How many times have you beat the adventure mode, buddy?
More than I'd like to admit.
With all characters as well?
More than I'd like to admit.
How did you find the new one though, Ultimate? Cause
I love Ultimate.
It's amazing. The storyline for it was so good and such a long story.
Yeah, I mean, Spirits is pretty fun. I enjoyed it.
World records.
I just watched like the first
home run contest and see what kind of crazy things you can see. So. There's some people have found out some crazy ways to optimize all this. No, go away, League of Legends.
Yeah,
no one
we don't like League of Legends.
We enjoy
here.
video games, League of Legends.
We don't like it. Skip the ad. Oh, we don't like that. All right, here we go. Here's Pete.
Yeah, this is the setup. Yeah, you like the infinite turn-up glitch? This is an intro. This is a...
Wait, what's this?
What? How?
Is this Pink Floyd? Was that Pink Floyd?
I think it was.
Maybe.
Anyway, some guy really wanted to animate the beginning of his home run contest videos.
So yeah, Kirby is so OP.
He is. Look at this optimization.
Kirby is just so OP.
He keeps down airing and then Z dropping the bat, and then he goes to that and
oh, how many meters? 3,300. Whoa.
That was 3,000 feet.
I like how he put it to meters as well. Thank you. Oh, where'd it go? Oh my god, it came back.
Oh.
Yeah,
holy
people have some
shit.
stupidly optimized tricks for this. It's ridiculous. 1,200.
That was
yeah.
All right, yeah, you can pause
You
that
can
now.
see what kind of stuff people can do.
That's hectic.
That's crazy.
I mean, I would never be able to do anything like that.
That
so.
upset me a little bit is they didn't have that in Ultimate.
Yeah.
They do. No, they don't have it now.
No, I don't think they do. I didn't think they did.
I think they just re-added it actually.
Yeah, or they were talking
they patched
about
it
it.
in.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
I haven't tried it, but I
one.
think it's actually in the game now.
Yeah.
They were like, all right, people actually really wanted home run contest.
Well, it's just everything about Super Smash Bros. Melee.
Yeah.
Because it's like what we were talking about at the beginning of the podcast as well, or before, where it was like, that was the standard, wasn't it? For competition gaming for Super Smash Bros.
Yes, we were talking about it. Melee was really what made competitive Smash Bros. A thing.
Yeah.
And it continued to do so.
But how
it's
big
the
is
framework for it.
How big is competitive Super Smash Bros. Now, kind of thing?
Ultimate is huge compared to everything else that
Melee
came
was?
before it. No, Melee is just about as huge as Ultimate.
Okay,
Somehow, Melee is an organism that never dies.
Yeah.
It's,
100%.
It's still got one. It was the most viewed in its last year at EVO, which is the world's biggest fighting game tournament. At its last year at EVO, it was the most viewed game.
Okay.
Out of everything.
Most views.
It's like
what's an EVO tournament?
EVO is the world's most prestigious fighting game tournament.
Eva has actually said, yeah.
Is that Eva? It's Eva.
Is that Eva?
It's Eva.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hi Eva. Bless.
Alright, shout out to Eva.
Shout outs to Eva.
They're editors.
We hate Ness, but we love Eva. But yeah, so at its last year at EVO, I think I got the most views out of everything. And they actually ended up cutting it the year after. So 2019 onward, they didn't have EVO anymore.
Really?
And we still don't have it again.
But
they just
was that like
announced
a world competition though? Or was
yeah.
that
People come from all over the world for EVO.
Really?
It's the biggest fighting game tournament.
Oh, so it's all fighting games. So it's Tekken, Street Fighter, the whole lot.
They usually have heaps of side tournaments during the weekend that it's on, but there's usually 9 main stage games, which will be usually there's always Street Fighter. This year they've announced the lineup recently. Actually, it's Street Fighter 5, Smash Ultimate, not Melee, and then it's like Tekken, Under Night In Birth. There's a couple other ones. I think it's Samurai Showdown, Dead or Alive, and I think one more.
Oh, Dead or Alive, I haven't heard that in years.
Yeah, Dead or Alive 6 came out last year, I think.
Oh wow, we had Dead or Alive 4 on the GameCube.
Yeah.
And that is just...
no, that was on Xbox 360.
Xbox 360.
Wow.
And it's just girls in bikinis beating the shit out of each other. That's literally what the game is like.
I've seen the movie.
But can you want more? As a young,
Yeah,
as a
as a
young
gamer,
prepubescent
would
teen,
you?
do you want more?
Yeah, that's exactly it, yeah.
Yeah, and they actually ended up bringing back this year, because it's the game's 20th anniversary, Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I saw that they were releasing something like that for the Nintendo Switch soon as well. It's like they were releasing...
God, I wish they do.
I think it's like the new one, Marvel vs. Capcom 3 or something like that.
God, I wish that came out on Switch. I don't know. I would
Like,
download it if it was on Switch. I have it on PC, but Marvel 3 is
How
also very
does
good.
that play up? Because I was a massive fan of Tekken. Like back in the day, me and my friends would either be playing Super Smash Bros. Or Tekken.
Yeah.
And with Tekken, it just gets so heated. We'd sit down for like 40 or 50 games kind of thing, and the loser passes the controller on kind of thing.
Yeah.
But then, how with... where was I going with that? With that though, it's like, how do those rules apply and stuff like that to the actual game? Like, how does the tournament kind of happen in a way?
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
do you want me to describe how a tournament runs for Smash?
Yeah.
Because it's probably pretty similar. So with a Smash tournament, we actually all meet in real life. It's
Yep.
not just online or anything. It's actually we all bring computer monitors and Nintendo Switches. Well, it's usually about 10 setups is what we like to have. Okay. So we have plenty of room. So people, once they get knocked out, they can play friendlies and all that.
Yeah.
So how we do it, we set up the venue.
Just quickly as well, what's friendlies? That's just like
friendlies
casual.
is just not tournament games.
Yeah,
like
just casual
friendly games. You know the whole thing where it's like Fox only, no items, final destination. We do have no items. It's not limited to Fox only.
Yeah.
And we do have an actual like set stage list of about 9 stages.
When you said Fox, what do you mean by Fox?
Fox McCloud.
Yeah.
You're going to play as Fox McCloud.
In Melee, he's the best character by far.
Really?
But, he's broken. He has a frame 1 invincible move that you can jump out of.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they showed me that, and he would always.
Because see, that's like my main characters are Link, Young Link, Fox.
We love
Kirby, basically. Kirby for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Amazing.
I actually think he's one of the worst characters in the game.
Really?
If I'm being honest. I used to main him actually when this game first came out.
No shit.
I mained him for 4 months. But he just cannot deal with sword characters or characters that outrange him or have projectiles. He just loses to all that. There's nothing he can do.
But
if you're gonna get technical about it.
If
it's gonna get very technical.
So all I'm saying is if you showed up to a tournament playing Kirby, I wish you luck. Because I clearly did not have enough luck when I was playing Kirby.
So, Rachel, can you whip up the characters? So
you can whip up all the characters in the game. There was we had a Google page open for it, I think.
Yeah. I've got it.
Beautiful.
You know, there's a lot of characters in Ultimate.
Yeah.
There's a lot of matchups you got to learn.
How do you feel about the character pack 2 as well? Because there was such like a big petition to try and get the guys from Undertale in, and now they've like...
We have Sans.
Yeah, Sans. Which is
Sans is a me costume.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Which is hilarious. My mate actually plays Sans now. I convinced him to be a Sans main. He's actually... That character's not fun to fight. Me Gunner is super obnoxious. There is about 70-something in this game at the moment.
Yeah.
And then the fighter passes at the top.
Oh,
that's not included the new characters. So.
Okay, yeah.
And they're all at the top, the DLC ones.
Wow. Yeah.
The latest one, Byleth, caused a bit of controversy because we have, I think, 8 Fire Emblem characters
and they're
in the
all
game
sword
now.
characters?
Yeah, I saw
Most of them are sword characters.
Wow.
Yeah.
But there's some really cool additions.
They just need to add
Joker is
Waluigi.
awesome.
Waluigi to the game would be the best thing ever.
Man, Waluigi... I don't like his chances at the moment. Sakurai seems pretty hell-bent on not putting him in the game, so...
Can I just drop a fun fact? If you look up on the Super Mario Wiki, I believe Waluigi is about 8'1" or something.
Yeah, he's something ridiculous.
Yeah. Stands up properly.
Google how tall he is.
Google how tall Waluigi is.
Have you ever Googled how tall Peppa Pig is?
No, it's supposed to be like 16 feet.
It's humongous.
Yeah, I remember
and then like, you know how Peppa Pig is like...
Google Peppa Pig's height.
Maybe Peppa Pig should be in the fucking Super Smash Bros.
We'll have I'm down for Peppa Pig to be in Fighter Pass 2.
Have you guys ever seen the photo where it's like Peppa Pig on the side, but it's like Peppa when Peppa Pig
Waluigi is 7'1".
Yeah, it's 4 eyes.
7'1".
He's
Shaq. He's Shaquille O'Neal.
That's
Jesus.
He's just taller than everybody.
Oh my god. Waluigi depressed is what comes up in the recommendeds. We love Waluigi hot. Waluigi flirty.
Right, here we go. Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig height.
We're about to find out. Peppa Pig
humongous.
Is
7'1".
Also 7'1". Yeah, and then you see Peppa Pig and her dad is like 3 times her size.
Really?
Yeah, exactly.
You ever watch Peppa Pig? Her dad is humongous compared to her, and if she's 7 feet, then he's at least 21 feet.
So it's a Gortha, boys. These we got giants inside the. Never mind.
Sorry, back to
Super Smash.
How we run tournaments.
Yeah.
So we basically have about 10 or so actual setups of the game running at any time. Hopefully, and then
how
one
many
of them
entrants as well? Just like 12, 10?
No, there's heaps. There's usually about
like 15, 20?
About 35 to 40 people usually at a weekly tournament. Yeah.
Holy crap! Okay.
We had a big tournament a couple of weekends ago, which was a major tournament, and that was I think 100 and something people.
Wow.
So
and did you organise that?
To play Super Smash Bros.
Did you organise that? Or was
no, I didn't organise that.
Was it the down south?
That was in Murdoch.
Yes.
That was really good. It was good fun. Yeah.
Lachlan, this just got interesting. Yeah, we were looking at Peppa Pig.
They are... What's the word? What was I going to say? So when you run a tournament, you enter everyone up. Everyone comes, they pay you $10 basically, right? So the $10, $5 goes towards the venue fee.
Yeah.
And then the other $5 goes towards the pot for the tournament. Okay. So usually it's about a 35-man tournament. Usually top 5 will get paid out some amount of money. Usually 5th place and 4th place usually just get their entry fee back. Okay. So like they didn't pay for the tournament.
Yeah.
But then like if you come first, usually you could be looking at like maybe like $80 or something for winning the tournament. So it's pretty good.
That's not bad. Yeah,
it's pretty good for showing up and winning the video game.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's it's pretty good. There's an incentive to get better, but most people probably won't get to know what being paid out is like. I mean, it's really hard to be good at this game.
Yeah.
It's really hard. I checked actually. I think I have 1,100 hours in Ultimate alone.
Holy shit.
On the Switch, yeah.
And that's only last year, right?
Yeah, it came out just
2 years ago?
December 2018.
Yeah, 2018, yeah.
So yeah, it's just over a year old.
Yeah.
And I have 1,100 hours, and that's on my setup alone. And sometimes I go to other people's houses to play as well.
Benjamin, you should Google how many 1,001 hours is in a day. Yeah.
Okay,
let's work that out.
You're going to show me how much of my Wi-Fi
we're
wasted?
doing that.
Oh, I'm trying to do
Thanks, guys.
It's not that bad. I've got a friend who's put like 2K hours into Dota and stuff like that. So.
Damn.
Yeah, that's Chris. He's very full on with that.
Oh, yeah?
But he doesn't play anymore. I put 400 hours into Just Cause 3 and another 500 hours into Oblivion.
Oh, yeah.
Like Oblivion, when that came out, there you go.
Oh,
41 days.
I can't believe I've wasted 41 days of my life.
41 days.
Nearly
over
42.
a month on a game. But surely that's leaving it online and like, just going to sleep and leaving the nah.
I practice nearly every day.
Holy.
You're pretty good, aren't you?
How do you practice?
I'm pretty alright.
Yeah, you're pretty alright.
I'm pretty okay at the game.
You'd want to be.
Yeah, I'm probably, I think at the moment, I'm probably within like, I'd say, I'm definitely in the top 20 in Perth. Of everyone in Perth, yeah.
That's pretty good.
At least. I think I'd probably be
But how many hours a day and how do you practice though? Do you just play online versus other players or?
I always try and look for friendlies with real people because playing against a CPU is completely different than playing against a person.
Yeah, of course.
Once you figure out how a CPU works and what its problems are, it won't fix itself. That's just how it's programmed. Yeah. Whereas if you play against a person, if you figure out what the person's doing wrong, they will adapt and try and fix their problems.
Yeah.
And then it becomes a huge mind game of both players trying to out adapt each other and find each other's weaknesses.
Yeah.
And it just
more
becomes
challenging,
it becomes one big guessing game. You got to try and guess what your opponent's going to do next.
It's kind of like chess.
Yeah. It's like chess, yeah. It's a very, very short, condensed game of chess with a lot more buttons to press than move piece.
See, I don't know if Damo ever told you this, but when I used to run a student night at Wednesday nights at the Flying Scotsman, and I actually took they had a projector above the DJ booth. And so with that, I used to take my Switch down.
Damien did tell me about this, yes.
And then I used to just like have Super Smash Bros. Up with seven controllers available, and whoever wanted to play could.
And it get filled. It get filled pretty often.
Yeah, people would jump
People love Smash.
Yeah,
Smash.
Or Mario Kart as well. It's
Mario Kart too.
Surprisingly how popular Smash Bros.
Because this is fun party games.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You're having a couple of brewskis and you're playing with your boys. So a bit off topic, but where have you guys got gigs next, and what kind of music do you guys play / enjoy?
Well, I'm the only DJ in the room, so Lachlan, the next gig I've got, Friday night I'm playing at Long Chims, which is a place at the Petition in the city, which is the State Treasury buildings, and then Saturday that's more of like a restaurant, chill, relax. I play old school 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s kind of music. Saturday night I'm doing a wedding. Sunday I'm playing to the streets of Fremantle at this place called Vinanolli's. Next week Saturday I'm playing at this place called Scarborough Beach Bar, and I'm playing from 5 o'clock to 1 a.m. I'm pretty sure, and that's all party music and just current between pop and rock and everything in between basically.
That's Sunday night?
No, it's Saturday.
That's Saturday night.
Jeez, look at this guy being productive with his life.
Yeah, I try, alright.
I play video games and I've wasted 41 days on this one video game that I really like.
Well, I've spent thousands of hours modifying music and sorting shit out.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. So sorry.
No,
back on the topic about how we run the tournaments.
I like it how you're doing that. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, this guy.
It's like usually I'm the host and I'll be like, right, now back on topic. But you beat me to it. It's good.
It's more like I have something in my head and I just want to get it out.
No, it's good. It's good.
He's like, shut up, Alex.
Alex, come on, we're talking about gamers.
Yeah. This is the gamer podcast now. We're not about music. So as you say,
welcome to Smashing with the Bros.
All right, so
I'm your host, Brandon Slomp.
Yeah.
When
you're running competitions,
Lachlan, if you're gonna do that, maybe come to Fremantle or come to Scarborough Beach Bar next week. But we'll talk about that later on. Just private message me on Facebook. We can discuss it.
Understandable.
Yeah.
Anyway, I have a question when you're done. When you're done, I have a question.
Okay, so basically everyone signs up. We run a bracket. How we do is we seed the bracket. So we usually, otherwise it'll just be a random mess of who fights who. The idea is to make it so that the top players don't fight each other early on.
Okay,
you don't want them to fight early because then you leave the good games until the end of the bracket. You know.
Yeah.
So usually it's good players fighting the worst players for the beginning, and then it goes. Once you lose one set, we fight in sets, which is composed of either a best of 3, so you win 3 games, or a best of 5, so you win 5 games.
Right.
If you lose your first set, you go in the losers bracket because it's double elimination.
Okay. So losers bracket, then once you lose the losers bracket,
you're out.
Yeah. Okay.
So you at least get 2 sets, you know.
But how does that work though? If you win the losers.
If you win in losers, you can go all the way up to losers finals, where you'll fight the loser of winners finals, and then the 2 of you will fight to see who gets to go fight the winner of winners finals and grand finals.
Okay. Yeah. So
you can if you lose in losers, you can make the run all the way back up to winning the tournament.
That's fair though, because it's exactly like we said. If you've got like state champion versus third state champion or whatever, then it's like they battle each other right at the beginning.
You don't want that.
Yeah, you don't want that. But if that happens, then it's like they can still climb the ladder and get through it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
We have a Mr. Anderson by the looks of it, who's just sent a comment.
Kind of off topic again.
Kind of off topic. I believe professional tennis trance music is about to be big. What are your thoughts about competitive Minecraft chicken killing competitions?
We hunt them for sport.
Yeah. I think Minecraft competitive chicken killing should be an e-sport.
I think I do competitive Minecraft, and you got 15 minutes to
I want to see competitive Minecraft Hunger Games at Evo next year.
Yeah,
dude, that'd be so
you
dead.
got 15 minutes to find diamond or something.
Yeah,
like that. Just get a dig.
Hey man,
Minecraft speedrunning. That's actually a thing. Because Minecraft has an actual end of the game.
Yeah, and the end is dragon. Yeah,
end of dragon. Sorry, Damien.
No. So
get back to the tournament. Yeah.
No.
Let the boys speak.
Okay.
Right.
There's as I say with competitive Minecraft, it goes Fortnite, then it was P-Pug, and then it was Minecraft Hunger Games in terms of battle royales. So all evolved from Minecraft Hunger Games.
We're a big fan of Minecraft Hunger Games.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Minecraft Hunger Games. Back to the tournaments, my man. So you have the double eliminations, and you have.
So you get a second chance, basically.
Exactly.
But if you lose and loses, you're out. Yeah. And when you get to grand finals, how they run it is if you're in the losers side of grand finals, you have to win 2 sets. Right. Because the winner hasn't been knocked into losers yet.
Yeah.
So your first set is knocking the winner into losers bracket, and then beating them in losers bracket. Yeah, so grand finals, if each set goes to game 5, can go on for 10 games.
Yeah.
Can take an hour sometimes for grand finals.
That's really good though, because then it builds all that hype up. It's like right at the end, it's like holy shit, they got thrown into the losers bracket.
Yeah. And they've made it all the way back. They're bringing it to game 10.
Yeah.
I don't like it when people don't stay to watch grand finals. I understand people are busy, no matter work the next day, but it's like grand finals is where it's at. That's where you're going to see the best of the best play. You know, that's where you want to be. You want to be seeing that happen. You know.
But do you find that a lot of people do rock up that are just kind of just kids that want to be into it kind of thing, and just then once they get knocked out, like just go elsewhere kind of? Or?
It's not just kids, adults same. You know. Yeah. Some people just.
They're just busy, like you said.
Yeah, right? They're busy. And there are also some people just don't have the same competitive drive that the better players do.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say that about it as well.
Oh, you were going to say that?
No. I was going to say something very... I was going to say that.
Let the man speak.
We love hearing Damien talk.
Thank you. I hope you do. I have the voice for the radio. No. how do you find like newcomers coming in who have never done competitions before? How do they find that competitive?
Is there like a tutorial, like training? Well, not tutorial, but I mean like.
Yeah, Do you have anything set up for newcomers, or do they just come in blind? If they do come in blind, how do they react? How do they react then?
Just convince them it's like $20 buy-in kind of thing.
I mean, it's up to them. They've probably at some point in their life watched a competitive game of Super Smash Brothers. If not, I pity them because they're going to have no idea what the shield button is. But there's a lot of players that do come in. It's their first tournament though. As someone that organises tournaments, I take it upon myself to try and make sure that they have a good time, even because it's not just a tournament, it's a community event, you know. We all really like the game, but we also usually like each other in the community as well. I made a lot of my really good friends from playing Smash. So
have you ever gone to any of the respawn nights at all? Have you ever heard of that?
Actually,
oh wow!
I have not been to a respawn night.
Have you heard of them?
I have heard of them.
Yeah.
Are
they still going?
Yeah, I think they were. They used to be at my uncle's pub, and then they moved down to
They moved down to the top of that sports bar in the city.
Game sports bar.
Game sports bar, yeah.
And that used to just go off.
That was so fun.
You get all the good-looking girls that rock out with
and there was cosplaying,
cosplaying and that kind of stuff.
It was so good.
And then it's just games as well,
video
and
games.
old school Nintendo 64, Mario Kart, and Melee and everything.
That sounds awesome. I did want to go to them, but it was when I was sort of like just 18 and I wasn't very
outgoing.
I wasn't a very outgoing guy.
Not as extroverted as you are now.
No. I would never go on a podcast when I was 18, man. I tell you.
So speaking about community, can you please do me a favor, Ben? Can you look up a book called Bowling Alone by Robert Putnam? Can you just Google that for me?
All right.
Speaking about community,
we're going on a Damien literature adventure.
As long as you can provide some level of context.
Absolutely, I can. So you're talking about communities and sports fighting. Well, there's a big thing about Robert Putnam. He wrote this book called Bowling Alone.
Open new tab.
Where a lot of people where bowling alleys were still being filled, but bowling leagues were becoming shorter and shorter, and they were eventually getting decimated. And he was going to these bowling alleys throughout America because he's a sociologist, and he found that a lot of people go bowling alone. They used to be part of teams, and they kind of fell apart, and they would just that's it, Robert Putnam. And it's this really fascinating, the collapse and revival of the American community. And what it's about is it uses the bowling league, your after work bowling leagues as a metaphor for community building and communitarian ideals in different parts of the world.
8 out of 5 on Goodread.
It's a good book, man. That means it's got 8.
Damien.
That means it's got about 7.8
That's really
out of 10.
Yeah, that's alright.
7.8 out of 10.
Back to Smash Bros.
No.
Back
I'm relaying this.
Okay,
Don't give me.
sorry.
He's running it back. He's running it back.
Sorry, co-host. I'm sorry.
But you're talking about how you're building a community. Do you find that that's actually? And you're talking about how a lot of the guys, 18, they're very introverted. Do you find that a lot of these kids, they don't play sport, but they go into this community, and they just fall in love, and they have a passion, and everyone is just kind of come together.
That was me.
And that makes a big, because in that book, he talks about how communities like bowling leagues and whatnot are so important for people. And once those communities die, a lot of people are just out alone. They're bowling alone. They're doing these things they love, but they're doing it by themselves. Mm-hmm. When you're creating a community like this, do you find that there's energy? Talking about how you have best friends. How have you found your social life and the lives of those around you coming into these fighting tournaments?
Man, that was a surprisingly good metaphor analogy, and I was like, "What?" I was not prepared to be answering these questions. But when I first started, I guess I wasn't very good at. Well, in high school I was very, because I've been a video game guy all my life. I've been a big nerd. People didn't like me for it, as you do back in the 2000s, where being a nerd is actually punishable by death.
Don't worry, we all can relate.
Yeah,
I think we all can
relate, man.
And now I actually think about it, a lot of these gamers and all that, some of the most social people in the world now.
Yeah, it's become like the societal norm to be a gamer these days. Yeah,
to be a gamer,
to be gamers. But yeah, it's really, I think, part of that. But then also being with a community of people that I can hang out with outside of just video games as well. I've learned to know them through video games, but I can hang out with them outside as well.
Yeah.
It's good because then it's encouraged me to do more things. And when you get good at a game, like I guess I have now, it actually becomes a good conversation starter and a good talking topic because people are actually genuinely interested.
And when you're deeply passionate about something, people will always tune in and be
I can
interested in what
relate.
you have to say.
I can relate to you 100% because when I was at high school, I dropped out year 10. I got bullied way too much. I hated it. I had basically no friends, all this and all that. But then when I dropped out, then I went to TAFE and then just like started trying to be a bit more social. Still wasn't that great. Moved to Perth and just thought to myself like, well, I'm moving 2.5 hours away from home. I can be and do whatever I want.
Yeah, you're a brand new person. No one knows you.
No one knows me, and I can just start again. And then I started getting into the music, which I've always been into music my whole life. Like just been a gamer and a music guy. And then it's just like what you said. It's like getting into that community and then talking about it and then learning things about it. And then it's like when you become good at it, you kind of like respect it a bit. Yeah. And you actually can just have conversation about music, about electronics, about whatever. And like you can actually be a genuine, informative, nice guy kind of thing.
Thanks, man. Thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem.
That was clearly directed at me and not around me. No, seriously, it's such a great thing. Like, because for some people, it's not just the game, Yeah. Some people, they might come and go 0-2 every week, They might not win any games, but they'll come because they have friends there and there's something they enjoy, and they don't have to be there for the tournament because after the tournament's like halfway through, there's setups available to play games with friends.
Exactly.
Friendlies. So
but see, that's what I was saying just before about the whole respawn thing. People would consistently go to respawn because it was like they knew their friends were there.
Or they knew people that were similar to them would be there.
Exactly, and people would dress up in cosplay and they wouldn't fit out what you.
I wouldn't cosplay. I was going there regularly.
You have dressed.
No, but I knew I had mates who would cosplay there.
So Damien likes to cosplay as gay traps from anime.
Funny enough, that's what I was going to do at the end of high school. So good thing I didn't. You ever play Guilty Gear? Speaking of fighting games, you ever played Guilty Gears?
I have played Guilty Gear.
Yeah, the Nun.
I love Guilty Gear.
The Nun. I was going to dress up like the Nun. Dress up as a nun at the end of high school.
The Nun Trap Boy.
The Nun Trap Boy, yeah.
Not the Nun Trap.
Pull that up. Pull up Guilty Gear Nun.
You're going to dress like a trap?
No, shut up.
We love traps. No, we don't. I'm not a fan.
We're not. I'm not a fan either.
Although I can appreciate
a tomboy. I can appreciate a good tomboy.
That is the trap.
Yeah. See, Bridget was a character.
You were gonna.
It's a guy. But yeah, it's a guy. Hopefully.
That is
be careful. Don't scroll. Don't
go too far, my guy.
We don't know what's on there. We don't have. We got the family filter on.
Who did I play? I played the yellowhead.
I just said
Infra-Red.
family filter on. I think googling Bridget.
I played. I don't just play Smash. I play a bunch of other fighting games. I play Dragon Ball Fighters.
Really? How was that? Because I got that on Switch and I could get into it, but it wasn't the same as I didn't have anyone to play with.
You need people to play with, and it's hard because a lot of fighting games don't kick off in Perth, and especially Perth, but not just Perth, all of Australia.
Yeah, it's hard.
And considering online these days isn't exactly the priority for a lot of developers, and we don't exactly have good online regardless, it's become harder and harder to play online games with people.
Actually, Oceania.
I was talking to my mates about this. Sadly, that the worst thing has been the death of split screen. Yeah. You played Modern Warfare 2, Call of Duty.
My god! I played Black Ops.
Amazing.
I played Black Ops 2 split screen, my mate, all the time. Just
Halo.
Gun game in 30 FPS.
Dude, the split screen Halo. Dude, Halo in the high school.
God, Halo.
Yeah.
But you also
having LAN parties, having like 16 of
me and my brother used to throw LAN parties when we were younger. I had an Xbox and he had an Xbox because it was so good because then that way I could play Halo 2 and he could play Halo 2 and we could play the campaign together kind of thing. So good. Right? Or just do it split screen or whatever. But we used to get mates to bring 2 of their Xboxes over.
And you just had
we'd have we played 16-player Halo 3 before.
That's so good.
And it was the best thing ever. We used to have a 50-inch TV and then 2 little 30-inch TVs kind of thing, and then maybe a little smaller one. But everyone gets a TV, everyone gets a screen, and you just play we'd play all the custom games, and it was the best thing.
That sounds awesome.
It was just such a good community.
That's sort of like. Imagine that, but we do it every Thursday night,
Nice. So every Thursday?
Well, we have 3 weekly events at the moment, I think.
Oh, really?
So there's a Wednesday night one in Cannington. Yeah. There's Thursday nights, which are either at a different Cannington place or the one I run in Sorrento. And then there's also a weekend one in Rockingham, which I can't obviously go to because I don't want to drive an hour and a half.
Yeah.
But it's just so good. It's like,
are they all the same company though, or same business, or are they different?
Well, the 2 in Cannington, one is a card game store that we run it at, and then one is an actual escape portal. It's a gaming lounge that they run it at on the Wednesday night one.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, we just ran them ourselves. We all organise it.
But it's so easy to do that now with the Switch. Because back in the day, you have to take your GameCube, you have to plug it in, you got to make sure you got a TV.
Yeah, I mean, we still bring a monitor. We still bring a computer monitor because who wants to be playing a tournament on this tiny little screen? You know, exactly. No one wants to be playing a tournament on that.
Yeah, and it's better if you bring your own monitor because then it's your monitor. It's the size perfect for you and what you're used to. Kind of.
Well, yeah. Well, basically, we have how it is. There's 10 monitors all around, and then you we'll call out your game. It'll be 1v1. Most people know the rule set. So we call it your game, we're like this person versus that person, go play on, set up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. We also have a stream one, so we stream it.
Yep.
So then you get them to go play, they play their game, the game happens, the winner usually comes up and reports the score, and then you get obviously moved on or you get knocked into losers, one of the two. But yeah, and it's just awesome because it's like, because there's a tournament format, there's more to work towards. Every time you go to a tournament, you try and go further up in the bracket, I guess.
Yeah.
Instead of going 0-2, you want to be trying to go 1-2, you know? Yeah. You want to win a set in losers and then get knocked out. Exactly. And then you might be like, end up winning a set in winners. You never know. So, yeah. No, I think the tournament dynamic really makes it different, good, and actually like puts you in a good mindset where you just want to keep improving, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, because talking about like improving and like trying to actually, you know, just build upon your already built up skill set, right? You know how you were saying before the podcast, you versed like the state champion, you beat him like 3-0.
Poppet won.
And
my good mate Jordan, Poppet won.
And have you got you got the video of it?
I do have the video, but I will forewarn, this was an interesting circumstance where we had both been playing a secondary. Yes, that's the one, I think. Yeah, this is the one.
How long does it go for as well?
The set goes for about 15 minutes, so we don't have to watch all of it.
Yeah, you just watch the highlights.
You just watch bits and bits.
Try and watch the highlights.
I can explain to you sort of what my thought process was. Jordan is very good at this game. He's very smart, and I've actually learnt a lot of what I have learnt through him, because he does really, really good informative YouTube videos for people starting out.
Okay, well, that's pretty good.
So I would recommend those videos in a heartbeat to anyone that wanted to learn.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've played heaps against Jordan many times in bracket. I've never been able to, beat him before, and not many people have in Perth. He's very dominant.
Yeah.
There's
very
few people.
Kind of thing.
Yeah. There's a few people that actually really challenge him. So that's me. I'm playing the Me Brawler with the Mario hat. Because my actual character is Mario. Yeah. But we were just playing secondaries, but I've actually put a fair bit of practice into Me Brawler. Yeah. But so
wow,
yeah.
You guys are so quick already, straight into it.
You want to be going fast. I realized immediately what my first problem was is I'm approaching him when he's holding back, waiting for me to approach.
Yeah.
You got to not do what your opponent wants you to do, basically.
Yeah, you got to outsmart them, basically.
Yeah. That was an accidental taunt. I did not mean to taunt there. It worked though.
It's like what you were saying as well before. It's like, you can verse a computer, but the computer won't be able to build upon its errors or what causes it to fail, basically.
The computer doesn't acknowledge that it's made a mistake.
Yeah. Because it's not built to acknowledge, it's not smart enough to know that it's made a mistake.
It's the whole Chinese room deal with AI. That thought pattern of it can improve itself, but it doesn't know why. So it's such a slow, monotonous fail, win.
Oh shit, that was close.
Yeah, I think at this point Jordan sort of realised that I wanted to recover high onto the stage, and that I was jumping out of the corner a lot. So he punished me and hit me with the mover in the air.
Yeah.
Basically what I'm doing with that, that's the side B where he grabs you and suplexes you. Yeah. It does like 20%, and then you just want to get him to 1%, well, you can do that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's very flowcharty, Me Brawler.
Flowcharty, what do you mean by flowcharty?
Is it like you have a game plan, and you progressively go down the steps of the game plan. Okay, at low percent, you want to be trying to get grabs, you want to be trying to get a down tilt to start combos, and then if they're not going to approach you, you chuck the big old ball at them. And then if they're going to run at you and shield, you have side B to stop them from shielding, because it's a grab.
So there's different strategies. Each move pattern you can adjust for their strategies, essentially.
See, it's similar like with Tekken as well, because when you play Tekken, it's very like you got to know your character and know his strengths and weaknesses, and how he can actually use those strengths and weaknesses to beat the other player, who also has strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, I feel like Smash has a bit more of a depth in terms of flowcharting. Because in like Tekken or other fighting games like that,
you don't jump as high, you don't crouch, you don't get a shield.
Well, yeah, it's more because in those games you have a health bar.
Yeah.
You'll be playing the game reasonably the same as you would at low health as if you were at full health.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing affecting you. You're still going to be trying to land a combo start a combo, do as much damage as possible.
Yeah, or juggle or whatever.
The only difference is if you got low health, you'll be trying to play safer, you know?
Yeah.
Whereas in Smash is different. Everything is percent based and it's knockback based. There's no health.
Yeah.
It's just how much you've been hit and how far you'll go when you get hit again.
Just for the people that don't know, with Super Smash Bros. So it's you have to knock them off the stage and they have to just like go out of the map basically. That's how you win.
You knock them off the screen.
Yeah, knock them off the screen.
Kind of like sumo wrestling.
I guess a bit. You knock them out of the ring, but you can get back into the ring in Smash. So
it's very different. Yeah,
it's a big part of it is outplaying your opponent's recovery option as well.
Yeah,
like for example, I think I might have noted then that Jordan jumped a lot to get out of the corner, and he's doing it again. He jumps to get out of that corner because the corner is the bad spot.
Yeah,
because you can't run back.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
you're trapped essentially.
Yeah.
You're cornered.
You are cornered.
You're boxed in.
And so I think actually I kill him with an up B in this game because I realize that he wants to jump out of the corner a lot. So once I get him at kill percent, then I kill him with an up B, I think.
What's the typical kill range, kill percentage with the...
It's like
literally depends on character.
Yeah,
so
100 plus is usually kind of thing, 150 plus, right?
Yeah, I mean, it depends as well, because in Smash, you want to be using a lot of your character's safest moves.
So you don't use the final Smash, so you said there's no items,
no, because I feel that gets in the way, sort of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See, look, he's gonna, I think he comes up high here, he jumps. Oh wait, not there. It's not there, it's another point. I think this is the one where he jumps and I catch him. I think this is it.
Do you find when you have a health bar, you have to play way more defensively?
When you play a health bar, you play very similar the entire time.
Do you ever have competitions where you play with stamina though? And you play with health?
No, not usually. See, I catch him jumping out, kill him.
That's it.
It's we don't normally do that because this is usually the best way is the stock battle, because then you have 3 lives and you just have to, you know, get rid of all 3 lives, and the less lives you have, the more you're at a disadvantage. It's basically like having 3 health bars, sort of thing.
Yeah.
But the higher health you are, the harder it is for your opponent to hit you into moves that confirm into kill moves. Okay, and this game, Smash Ultimate is all about doing things as safely as possible.
Yeah.
And by what I mean by that is doing things so that you can get if you miss, you don't get punished, or you get punished. The punish window is incredibly small, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's not like a KO kind of punishment kind of thing.
It's like in this game, if you do, some characters have really good moves out of shield, they're called. For example, Mario has a very good up smash out of shield. So usually if my opponent is at a high percent, I'm going to be playing in shield a lot, waiting for them to hit my shield and then killing them because they've touched my shield. Yeah. You know? Or if I think that they're doing a lot of run back movement, I'll be chasing them with a kill move.
When they hit your shield, because that leaves open for like a parry kind of situation, isn't it? In a way. Yeah.
Well, in this game, you know, when you hit the shield, your opponent either has. Let me think about how to describe this. Shield is good because it stops your opponent from attacking you, and it's also it's impossible to react to unless you know it's going to happen, right?
Yeah. So
if your opponent runs at you and you throw a move and they shield it, if that move isn't safe on shield, you can get punished for it, right? Because the shield is their counter to your offensive option. So the best way to deal with shield in this game is grab, but grabs are not fantastic in this game. They have a lot of lag once you use them.
Yeah, it's a lot of delay, and it's hard to actually like grapple them kind of thing.
Yeah.
They have to be really, really close and within range kind of thing.
So that's why it's you only really want to grab when they either put themselves in a laggy situation or when you know they're going to shield, which then goes back to that point of adapting to what your opponent's going to do.
Yeah.
It's a lot of trying to outthink your opponent, really. Yeah. You need to know the basic fundamentals of the game, but then you also need to know what your character wants to do at certain percents, because it differs between every character in the game.
It's like what we were saying before, with it being basically like a small game of chess. Because it's a strategy. You have to apply a strategy to counteract your opponent's strategy to be able to win the game.
But the difference in chess is that there's different play styles, sure.
Yeah.
But all the pieces that you have are the same.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Whereas in Smash, the characters are all for the most part all completely different. You know, they all have their own play style, yes, but then they also have different moves. They have different options that they can do in different situations, and they have different things that you have to learn about them in order to play against them. You know, so a lot of the time I've spent playing, there's 1,000+ hours, have been me trying to figure out what to do against certain characters. You know, because there's 70 of them in this game. There's 75 or something.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's so many.
But see, I had the same issue as well when we got Tekken Tag Tournament 2. And it was like
there's
30,
a lot of characters.
It was like 40 or 50 characters or something like that. And it's just to be able to actually verse each individual character and just know what the hell's going on kind of thing and what you have to do. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of patience, and it's a lot of just going through it and just figuring out the game kind of, the mechanics.
Yeah, that's it. And that's what I've been trying to do.
Yeah.
But I think a big part for me is because I have figured out the game a fair bit. It's been figuring out my mindset towards the game.
Yeah.
Because you can't just run in and play Smash and then press buttons, you know? You have to be able to be patient. Patience is a huge part of it. You need to be really patient. Then you need to be smart enough and aware enough to always be watching what your opponent's doing while also be aware of what you're doing. Like if your opponent hits you one too many times with the same thing, you have to be like, all right, I'm making the same mistake over and over again, which could lead to me dying.
Yeah.
So, but then there's also the mental game of thinking a step ahead of, well, he's doing one or two things. He keeps doing this one a lot. Maybe he realizes now and then does the thing that he could have been doing before, and then they just try and they think a step ahead and do the thing that you changed to, as opposed to doing what you did before.
Yeah. We've only got about half an hour left. I was going to talk about how you did commentating, didn't Damien?
Yes, you
flew over to Sydney or something?
No, Queensland.
Adelaide.
It
was Adelaide.
So
that was
awesome.
Me and a bunch of other Perth guys, we went to compete in a tournament in Adelaide called Big Cheese 2.
You have like team colours and like.
No, there was a bit of state to state pride, I guess.
Yeah. That'd be pretty.
But
cool,
a lot of players are actually sponsored by organisations, you know.
Yeah.
And there's only very few people in Perth
who are good enough to be sponsored.
That could be qualified even for that, and there's still people that probably don't think about flying to go interstate and that sort of stuff because it's too expensive.
Yeah.
You know. But we went to Adelaide. It was sort of my graduating TAFE thing to myself. Was I'm going to go to this tournament in Adelaide and see how I do. I'll probably do really bad, you know, because in Perth is generally considered the weakest of all the states in Australia.
Yeah, we just
at
don't
the
have
game.
The population for it.
We don't have we don't have the competitive drive for it.
But Adelaide isn't much bigger than Perth.
No, but Adelaide is considered better than we are.
Yeah, but didn't you say state to state? But were there people from Melbourne and stuff like that?
Yeah, there was
Vic,
there was Melbourne, there was Queensland. One of my good friends
like
from Tasmania.
Yeah, Tasmania as well.
Yeah.
And Northern Territory, like
there probably was.
Yeah, desert state.
Desert state.
Yeah.
I love playing Smash in the desert.
Yeah.
Big Cheese was awesome. It was a great experience. How the big tournaments like that are run. You have the main bracket, which will be like top 64, right? But to get into top 64, you have to make it out of pools, which will be they'll pick a group of players based on seeding. It'll calculate, and then that'll be your pool, right? It depends. There's two types of pools. There's bracket pools, which are just an extension of bracket, or there'll be pools where round robin pools where you fight everyone in the pool, right? And the two highest ranking players in that pool will get put into top 64.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of bracket pools because it's basically just giving certain sections of the bracket to run to certain TOs and making it all run at the same time, which is really good, very efficient. But yeah, I ended up making it out of pools at this event, which was the first time and still only time I've made it out of pools at a major, which is huge because this was a 150 person event.
No shit.
And I made it out of pools, and not only did I make it out of pools, I think I placed 33rd
there you go.
out of the 150 something people.
Yeah, that's really good.
And
that's
I was tied with Ever actually. We were the third highest placing Perth people in the tournament, so only one guy placed above us. So he placed 25th, so he's only one spot above us anyway. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Which is still really good for pretty much only 2 people out of the 9 of us from Perth didn't make it out of pools. So the fact that 7 Perth people made it out of pools at an interstate major is still pretty big.
Yeah,
it's pretty big, man.
And I think seeing all that and seeing the top players, because we do have top players come in every now and then, seeing all that has really given the scene a much bigger competitive drive.
Yeah.
Seeing how much better they are than we are.
Yeah.
A bit of state pride, I guess. We don't want to be in the dust of everyone else anymore.
No, of course.
Yeah.
So
they're still as good as like WA represent.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, WA represent. I represent quite well actually, so I can't remember that.
Yeah. 33 is pretty good.
Yeah, and this is before I was getting top 8 at weekly tournaments here as well. So
yeah, top 8 in weekly tournaments as well.
Most of them, yeah, almost every single weekly tournament that we've been to. There's only been one that I haven't in the weekly tournaments placed top 8 and this year so far. So
wow.
I really stepped up after Big Cheese. I really got on the grind.
With the Big Cheese one though, like what was the prize for that kind of thing? Because like you're saying the local competition's like $80. Would it be like $1,000 for an interstate competition?
I'm not sure. I reckon it'd be close to 1,000. I would say for at least first place.
Yeah.
It'd be close.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure.
How much was it to buy into it and stuff like that? Like
usually a big major because it costs a lot more to run.
Yeah, exactly.
You have to pay a lot more to enter.
Yeah.
And then for every individual event you enter, usually you have to pay for each individual event. It's usually $5 an event.
Yeah.
But yeah, it wasn't just Smash. It was also a lot of other fighting games. Like there was Mortal Kombat, there was Marvel, there was a Street Fighter.
So that's one game I can't get into is just Mortal Kombat. I don't know why.
I know.
It's just the technique behind it. Like Tekken's like get into it, destroy your opponent kind of thing. Mortal Kombat's like more defensive and
at least Mortal Kombat 11 is. Mortal Kombat 10 was super aggressive because everything was safe on block.
Very aggressive.
But Mortal Kombat 11 very defensive, very safe, very patient game.
Yeah. That's what I was saying before, was those sort of games where you do have to play defensively because you have the life bar. That does have to change your way of thinking. And although every character, they all have different things and different moves, obviously. But when they have that situation where they're fairly similar and they have life bars, you kind of have to play like it's boxing. It's way more strategic. It's where you can get the punches in rather than I'm going to move him here, and then by going up B, he goes out of the screen. You know?
With Smash, it's different because your stock could theoretically last forever. Yeah, exactly. As long as you don't die.
Exactly.
Whereas in fighting games, there is an end point. Your health bar runs out, you know? Whereas in Smash, you could live until 200-something%, and then the smallest hit will kill you, you know? But if you can just not get hit, then you could theoretically be making it to that percent.
Exactly.
And that's why people play more safe, because they don't want to lose the stock, you know?
Yeah. There you go.
And so, because you play 3 stock as well, don't you?
Yeah, 3 stocks. So,
that's just,
especially if you're a stock down, you don't want to be losing stocks. So that's why people get more panicked and play, well, what they think is being patient, but it's actually just being predictable. So,
do you ever see anybody like rage quit at all as well?
Yes. Not like rage quit, but like get mad. Yeah, There's been a few occasions. Yeah. And I myself have been victim of a bit, but that's because of, I think, my poor mental state at the moment, which I'm trying to fix. So
of course. But, you know, everyone goes through things, but like when I say rage quit, it's like, is there like a no controller throwing policy kind of thing?
We have had, there was only been one incident, I think, in the span of the entirety of Ultimate where a controller has been thrown, and that was like the end of last year. Okay. So far, that's been the only controller throw I'm aware of.
And like, was he just banned straight up, or she?
No, he technically didn't hurt anyone, and he apologized for it afterwards.
Okay, that's right. Yeah, that's good.
It's like, settle down. Simmer down.
Have you guys ever
never
seen
done anything like that again? It must have just been a really bad day, because I know him and he's a really nice guy. So
yeah, of course.
There was a video I found on fucking YouTube or whatever. It was a long time ago. It's like someone played Magic the Gathering, and it's just like some big like McDonald's looking dude, and he just like flips the table basically, just storms off, and he's just so mad. But it's a card game. It's like
but it's something that
it can happen
people take quite passionately. You know,
exactly.
And when you're passionate about something, I understand exactly where people get mad at the games from, or get mad at losing, because at least for me, I blame myself for every loss I take because it's my fault because I didn't play good enough, you know?
Yeah.
Human error,
Yeah,
see,
I made mistakes. And
like,
so that's my next job is to figure out what mistakes I made and then iron them out, you know?
Yeah. See, I do the exact same thing with my DJing as well. Because with the DJing, it's like if I go and play a shit set, and I realise, I record all my sets, so I listen to them again, and it's like, oh fuck, why did I play that?
Yeah.
Why did I do that? Why didn't I do this kind of thing? It's just correcting human error, basically. It's behaviour.
Yeah, but I think the mindset does play into that, talking about your mindset. I think there is a big problem where if you're only going at it as, oh, I made mistakes, rather than I just didn't have the experience to overcome those things. It's just this, I think the way you have to tackle those sort of things is, oh, I made mistakes, how can I improve on them, rather than just you talking yourself down constantly.
Exactly,
which is a
and that's my problem
problem
at the moment is that I'm mostly just talking myself down, as opposed to being actually constructive towards it.
It's hard.
Instead of thinking, now I've lost that and that's it, you know?
Yeah, it's really hard.
Now my thought process is, all right, we lost that. Next week, we're going to be ready. We're going to go back and watch it if it was streamed, and figure out what I've done wrong, you know? Yeah. And that's sort of what I'm trying to do now. You know,
that's what's so good about esports and like Twitch and everything these days.
Because you can watch it back.
You can actually watch how you played, and see, like that's why I tell all my guests that come on this podcast is like you should watch the podcast again, so you can see how you acted, and reacted, and did this and said what and this and that. Actually on camera kind of thing. Shout out, you know, like we're not actually on camera, blah blah blah.
Yikes.
But like, if you get what I mean, though, it's just so you can actually see what's going on, what the situation,
how you react. Absolutely.
And it's a really good thing because I mean, like with the birth of technology and the way everything is actually just advanced. It just
human skills, soft skills such as this, being able to communicate effectively and make a human interaction.
Well, because in the 90s, like if you had a Super Smash Bros. Competition, you only had a Nintendo 64 or Mario Kart competition. How do you go and play in a state competition? In the 90s?
You had to have newsletters. You had to have newsletters, or if you were just at the cusp of the internet, emails.
Yeah, you would never
fax.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, now it's just a Facebook event, basically.
Now we just put it on Facebook. Yeah that's
how
I get it all done.
Yeah, exactly.
I will shout it out though. If anyone is interested, watching this, is interested in coming down to look at one of these events, or even if you guys yourselves are interested, at this Thursday night, 6 o'clock, the venue opens. Sorrento Beach Resort, up in the conference room upstairs.
Oh, so Sorrento Beach Resort, really? I got offered to play there once.
Really?
Yeah, and I turned it down because they weren't going to pay me what I was worth. But
Was it the actual resort itself?
I think it was the hotel or the main room or something like that, or bar or something. But it was Sorrento.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, my dad runs the resort. So.
Oh, really? Okay.
My dad, man.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
So technically, what? You're the one that runs the Super Smash Bros. Thing.
Yeah, I run it myself. But
okay.
I mean, I don't run it by myself. But,
you got a
I
group
organize
of friends.
it.
Yeah.
Does your dad ever come in and say, "Good job, son"?
That says good job. He says, "Hey, how's it going?"
You want a beer?
What the fuck is this? It's like he comes in, doesn't know what's going on. What the fuck
I could have offered this conference room to real clients. No, we only use it when it's free anyway. It usually just happens to be free on a Thursday night. You know, it's just how it is.
Quiet night.
It's quiet night.
You know, like you come into your dad's office. Dad, I can't believe it. The CEO of BGC just came in. He says he wants to use upstairs on Thursday night as a conference room. Yeah, as a conference room. Is that possible? He's like, absolutely. He comes in. Liar. Grabs the bell.
Games everywhere. There's TVs. What is this?
Playing video games instead of doing your homework. I don't know. Like.
Where's the CEO of BGC? And he's there, man. He's blasting some Mario Kart and he's destroying everybody.
So where would you want to take all this gaming and stuff? Like, would you ever want to try and do something like Respawn if you could?
I mean, I'm not super interested in running events bigger than what I run.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows, I might give actually streaming consistently a go at some point. Especially now that I have more free time. But
how would you actually go about streaming as well with the Switch?
Oh, with that? Well, I just have a game capture card just in Elgato.
Yeah.
That runs into...
What is
runs into the Switch HDMI out, goes into the Elgato. Into the HDMI in on the Elgato. The HDMI out goes to the monitor. And then there's a USB out, which goes to the computer. And then we run that. Well, I have the Elgato software, but we use OBS.
And
then OBS is what we use to stream. But we have like the overlay for the tournament, like for the scores and all that, is actually from a different website called Stream Meta, which is actually made by a guy in Queensland.
Okay.
For Smash mainly, but he also does other fighting game stuff. But yeah, no, it's really good. So that all that's like done online, connects online to OBS, and then all that streams through Twitch.
Yeah, because that's what we're using right now, OBS. Like,
yeah,
and it's
was it OBS?
Yeah, it's multi-purpose. Like it's just
so
great.
Good. It's so good.
So easy to use and everything.
It's really easy.
So then, what were you saying before though? So like, where would you want to take this before I cut you off and start talking about how you actually do it?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not too interested in running bigger than what I am, but I am interested in competing on a wider scale, I guess. One day, when I get better in Perth, I might end up looking for a sponsor or something, but I probably won't be going anything like huge like America until I'm like dead ass good, you know, like but like I want to keep competing more in Australia, because there's so many good players in Australia that I just never get to play because they're not from Perth, and there's so many better players than us in Perth.
Oh, exactly, in Melbourne or wherever.
Yeah, and I watch them play. I sometimes watch their VODs, and I watch them, and I'm like, I want to be that good. I want to beat that person, you know. And that's and I guess it because Smash is sort of like an escape for me. I guess it's a bit of my. It's sort of the one thing I look forward to in the week, if that makes any sense. Like I always look forward to Smash Night on a Thursday, you know.
Yeah.
And not that that's not to say that I don't have other good things going on in the week, but that's like my one thing that
you really love.
It's good to look forward to something in the week.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
As opposed to being like, I don't know what my week holds yet. It's usually that one constant.
Well, see, I'm the same thing with DJing. It's like at the moment playing the streets of Fremantle on Sunday. It's just my go-to to just put my headphones on and play music to the streets of Fremantle kind of thing. It's not, it's not going and trying to organise a wedding or do this or do that. It's actually just cruisy and what I want to do.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of why you want to get better at it, because you have more fun when you're doing good.
Exactly. Yeah. So when you were saying sponsorships as well before, like how would you go about getting a sponsorship, and what sponsorships could you get? I mean, imagine Nintendo. And it's like being able to have like a stamp on your head, being like, give me free game, like give me free Nintendo Switches.
I'm gonna be honest with you, I wouldn't want to be sponsored by Nintendo. They don't really care about the competitive growth of the game.
Really?
They don't. If an event says sponsored by Nintendo, sponsored in part by Nintendo, that usually just means that they've just slapped their name on there. Yeah. So it's an official advertisement and they'll promote it. Yeah. That's about it. That's all they do.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, there might be some things that they provide for a little bit, but like they've never been big on Smash as a competitive esport, you know?
Yeah.
And it sucks because it's such a great game, and I think it's such an awesome game, and there's so much that you can do with the game.
Yeah.
But by just saying that this is just a party game, you know, it's just a party game you play with your 4 people on your couch with your items on, that's ignoring a really large part of the fan base that enjoys it for a different reason, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
And not to say that we don't enjoy it like that. I still enjoy it like that, you know? Yeah. And I still think that's awesome. But by the tournaments that Nintendo themselves run is usually like, you know, 4 players, items on, or if it's not items on, then it's just Final Smash on. And yeah, you can't really take it too competitively like that. Yeah. So, yeah.
But what about other sponsorships though?
There is some small gaming organisations in Australia, like Athletico, other stuff like that. Like there's not really any big ones. Benjamin? I think it's Athletico. There's Overt as well. They're just small little gaming organisations in Australia, just really small. But
so they don't really have like clothing or headphones.
They do have like shirts. Like you get like a shirt, if you sign with them, you probably get a shirt. But I don't really know how much ability they have to, or how much money they can spend on you.
Oh, I know. Athletico. Yeah, I heard about
that's
them.
not right. That's the wrong one then.
Therapy.
No, but I
think it might be Athletico Esports. There you go.
Player Unknown's Liquidpedia. Down.
Yeah, you go on Twitter either.
Oh, that one, yeah.
I know one of their players.
Yeah, and do they do merchandising? As in, they do? No, never mind. They don't have the one to do the custom jerseys. I think there was one.
They do have jerseys. There you go. You can buy jerseys and a hat.
Yeah, but no, I remember there was. I was in the City Friday. We saw those guys wearing the Star Wars jerseys.
Oh yeah.
That was from Mecca, but there's a place in Perth that does similar stuff.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, I know one of the guys that's a Smash player for them. He's called DD, Defective Dagger. He's really good. He plays Wario. He's only a kid still.
Really? How much?
He's like under 18.
Wow. Really?
He's like, I think he's 16, 17.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and he's one of the best players in Australia. I think he was ranked second or third on the last
isn't that the same thing that happened with our Fortnite? It's like some kid won the Fortnite competition and like made a shit ton of money or something.
Yeah, because Epic Games can throw away money like it's fucking garbage.
Because Epic Games
they made so much money off of Fortnite. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Just be careful as well. Did you guys hear about what happened with Epic Games Store?
They're owned by China. Yeah, and they hack your metadata.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's insane how they can let that happen, but it happens. Yeah. Fortnite is owned by the Chinese.
It is pretty crazy.
Chinese.
Yeah, they sold it. They sold Epic Games to the Chinese.
Yeah. That's Gears of War, and that's everything. I'm pretty sure.
Borderlands.
Yep.
Damn. That's crazy.
Yep.
What if you're getting sponsored by Epic Games anytime?
Yeah, I'd love to.
I mean, they'd fly you out to everything.
They would. They really would. They got Marshmallow. Speaking of streaming, I need to get Epic Games for some money for them. Hell yeah.
Yeah. I mean, they'll throw it away to people that play their video game and promote it.
But do you know how the Marshmallow, the DJ, how I was talking about the streaming? Yeah, it's great. Didn't they put him in the video game?
Marshmallow. Yeah, he had like a live concert in the video game.
Yeah, that's insane. And
that's crazy.
But it didn't have like a milli. It didn't have something.
It was on multiple servers. It wasn't just on one single server.
Yeah, and it had millions. It was huge. Yeah. It got millions of views.
Yeah, it was crazy.
But see, I reckon it would have been recorded and then just put it.
Of course, it would have been recorded.
Yeah,
they wouldn't have let that been messed up. They would never let anything.
Well, chuck him in mocap, see what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
But see, it's the exact same thing that happened with Fatboy Slim. Fatboy Slim when did the Olympics, like when it was forever ago.
All right.
And none of his DJ equipment was plugged in. It was all just like, because he was on a float, he was moving around.
Yeah.
But they couldn't risk him stuffing up the Olympics.
So it had to be pre-recorded.
It had to be pre-recorded, so that way the Olympics run smooth. Because at the end of the day, he's just another DJ, which is really unfortunate to say. But fuck the Olympics. Music's better. Music's more important.
Understandable.
Yeah.
But I'm actually, Fatboy Slim was in Whitford's not long ago.
Yeah, he was. Yeah,
it's right next to the resort. So the resort was full occupancy that weekend.
Yeah, of course.
Because everyone stayed at the resort because it was literally across the road.
Yeah, for Fatboy Slim, that would have been such an amazing set.
And then we had heaps of hungover people coming the next day.
Yeah, of course.
And they were all just like,
they wanted coffee. And they wanted coffee, didn't they?
Do you have buffet? Give me buffet.
Yeah.
All right, so we got 10 minutes left of this. Do you have anything that you want? Usually in the last 5 minutes, we usually plug things. It's like you've already said, you know. Like
I mean, realistically, if you're at all interested, first ask to join the Perth WA Smash Bros Facebook group.
We'll put that link
That's
in the
where
description.
everything is. And then Thursday night, there's a Smash tournament. You do have to pre-register. The link is in the Facebook group. So
yep.
If you can get there in enough time, hopefully there's some spots left. If not, you'll go on a waiting list. And we'll try and sort you out, you know.
Yeah.
What we can also do is if you send us all the links to your events or to the pages and stuff like that, we can put that into our description.
I'll do that. Yeah. I'll chuck them your way.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, so come to that if you're at all interested. I mean, don't come in expecting to win.
Yeah.
Because don't do that to yourself.
Yeah.
Don't put yourself to that standard.
Through that trauma.
It's not going to be fun if you go in expecting to win the whole tournament because you're the best in all your group of friends. Yeah. That's a big meme. It's just like, oh, I'm the best of my friends.
Yeah.
Gets O2'd. Yeah, so come to that if you want to. You can follow me personally on Twitter at The Bow Show, but Bow is spelled B-O-W.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that a link reference at all or something?
No, I actually, behind that, I should probably talk about what I'm actually called in tournaments as well. I haven't actually talked about that.
Oh, wow.
What's your alias?
I haven't even talked about what my alias is. Well, at first, one of the first gaming tags I sort of had was Bowties FTW because I was a very big Doctor Who fan. Still am. Yeah. I was a big fan of Matt Smith, specifically the 11th Doctor, the Bowtie Doctor.
Yeah.
And that's sort of where that came from. I really like Bowties. Still do.
Yeah.
And that's where that came from. Bowties FTW. Then eventually it got shortened to Bow. And then I went through a whole bunch of variety of Smash tags, but one day in the garage I was playing some games with my friends about what was ages ago before Ultimate came out. We were playing a hacked version of the one on the Wii that played more like Melee, and I was a big part of that. I've been playing that for years.
That's one thing we didn't really go into, but keep going. We should talk before we wrap everything up about the hacked version.
The other stuff.
Yeah.
So we were mucking around, and I was just being silly, calling Falco stupid names. His name is Falco Lombardi, and I was just like Facolo Bombardi. Just stuff like that. And eventually, it somehow made its way to Fabio. Which is what my actual tag is, Fabio.
Fabio.
And then eventually I played Ganondorf, and it was funny because I'd never played Ganondorf before in PM.
Yeah.
And I was actually doing really well. And then we just sort of came up with the conclusion that it was Fabio, the most beautiful Ganondorf in the cosmos.
There you go.
And that's and it's sort of just stuck, and it's still my tag today.
So
just
how do you
Fabio.
fit just Fabio. Okay, yeah. So how do you fit Fabio, the Ganondorf,
the most beautiful Ganondorf concert?
Yeah, you can't.
No, you don't.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
If anyone's name is longer than like 10 letters in a Smash tournament, I shorten it.
And you take them aside, and you make sure they know why it got shortened.
Right, so
I take them at the back to the pasture. Just put them down.
So for the last 7 minutes of this, so what is hacked Super Smash Bros. Melee, and how do you hack it?
Okay, so the Wii, right? One of the most well-selling, probably one of the actually no, it's like the second most well-selling console of all time, next to like the PS2.
Yeah.
There was a game on it called Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Everyone has very fond memories of childhood of it.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if you looked at it from a competitive standpoint, it's a mess.
Yeah, it was.
It is an absolute mess from a competitive standpoint.
100%.
There is the biggest thing is random tripping.
Random tripping?
You can randomly trip if you run on the floor in Super Smash Bros. Brawl.
That's right. You could.
Yeah, you just randomly trip.
Okay.
Like with no reason. You just trip.
Didn't even know that, but okay.
Yeah. I guarantee you would have lost a few games to it as a child.
Yeah.
And just not even been aware. But so that was not fun. But then also they made the game incredibly slow. Characters didn't have a wide range of movement like Melee. Yeah. But also moves did not have a lot of hit stun. So when you hit someone, they almost immediately would be able to act out of it. Yeah. Whereas in Melee, if you hit someone, they have a fair amount of hit stun, which opens up then to super long, free-flowing combos.
Yeah.
So everyone loved Melee. Melee was a huge thing. It's always been a huge thing. It still is a huge thing. When Brawl came out, people were unhappy. They were like, "Well, this is not the sequel. You know, this is not what we wanted. We wanted to expand on what Melee had." And Brawl did see competitive play, but eventually people got sick of it. And with the rise of being able to hack your Wii, they ended up modding Super Smash Bros. Brawl into a game called Project M, which played a lot more like Melee and just had a lot of the same mechanics and stuff, but still kept parts of Brawl that were actually good. They kept all the characters, and and a lot of characters got completely reworked to fit with a faster engine.
How do you hack your Wii? I didn't even know it was possible at all.
You can hack almost every single video game console.
Yeah, I thought you could, except for like the new PS4 and stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I'm no expert. A lot of it has to do with SD cards.
Yeah,
because you can use the SD card to completely rewrite how your Wii functions. Because I think something reads the SD card first.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
like that.
And then it's just stuff like that. I'm not the person to ask about it. All I know is that it works. And gives you a much more fun competitive game than Brawl.
Could you ever chip it, kind of like our Xbox, the original one? Because you know how you get the original Xbox, you get the little chip, and you can just have all these games, and you can just like.
It's the best time.
I mean, you can do that with Wii because it played GameCube and Wii games.
Yeah.
You can literally just load games onto an SD card if you have the right software to run it, or on a USB. You can just load games off a USB.
Yeah, I did not know that.
Yeah,
at all.
You don't have to chip it.
Okay, holy crap.
You heard about it? Didn't you have to use Dolphin emulator for that or something like that?
You use Dolphin if you're playing it on computer,
and that's the only. And so I thought you used that for the Wii as well.
I don't think you do.
Okay, never mind.
Because the Wii already has all the things it needs to run it.
That's true.
You don't need to.
There's no emulator.
Make a Wii run Wii games. You know.
Yeah.
It's not like making a PC run a Wii game.
Yeah.
It's a completely different process.
Yeah, like that wouldn't. Yeah. I don't think that'd be possible, kind of.
What, to make a PC run a Wii game?
Well, like, it'd be possible to run it, but I just mean like to have the controls.
Wiimote's hard. You can get like motion sensors hooked up, apparently.
Yeah, but to be able to spend all that money into all that, it's just such an effort.
You can play games like Brawl and all that on the PC fine because they don't require a Wii remote, and you can just use a GameCube controller, especially because you can play like PM online with NetPlay and stuff.
Yeah.
So by hacking your we're using dolphin and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
We're all looking at the time. We're all nervous. We're like,
oh yeah.
should we stop Brandon from talking?
No.
Well, we can wrap things up very soon.
Yeah, we've still got 2 minutes.
3 minutes.
I have a question.
Oh, we have a question.
I want to hear Ben.
So there's certain characters on I've noticed in Super Smash Bros. Like Ganondorf and Captain Falcon have the same moveset.
Yeah.
So is there certain characters that you just avoid because they're literally the same character? They're just more powerful or whatever, or they punch better, or
the minuscule parts.
Yeah, like
there's very few times where that's actually a problem, because even with Ganondorf, you are right. Ganondorf was made almost entirely off of Captain Falcon's moveset with very few changes. But the changes that they made him play, at least in Melee, because in Melee they were the same character almost.
Yeah.
But in Melee, they changed certain things like his movement speed.
Did you mean Ultimate though?
No, in Melee.
Yeah,
They made slight changes to him. They basically used all of Captain Falcon's moves, chucked it into a different character, made him slow, made him hit harder. And that became Ganondorf.
Yeah.
But those slight changes completely changed the way you played, because in Melee, Falcon is this guy that runs at you at unbelievably fast speeds because he's the fastest character in the game. He just runs at you, and you kind of just have to eat buttons, you know? Whereas with Ganondorf, like, if Ganondorf hits you, you take so much more damage, but he's nowhere near as fast, you know? And that was why Falcon was better, was because he was a faster character, and he still had incredibly good combos that killed you stupid early. But Ganondorf was not fast and only had good combos that killed you early.
So that kind of sounds like the whole situation with Tekken as well, with King and Armor King. It's like you have you've kind of seen Tekken a little bit, right?
I've seen a bit of Tekken, yeah.
You know, you've got like the leopard dude, like the yellow tiger kind of guy.
They have the same basic moveset, but like their combos would be different.
And then Armor King is very slow, but does a lot of damage.
Listen, all I'm saying is, don't get me started on the 7 Gokus in Dragon Ball FighterZ. Because there is 7.
There actually is 7 in
Oh yeah.
And what?
They just announced another Goku in season 3.
There you go.
There's a lot of Goku.
Holy shit.
Have
you... Well, we've got to...
We can go a little bit over.
We're 5 minutes over, but have you had a look at the game called Kakarot at all?
I almost bought it yesterday.
I really want to buy it.
You weren't going to buy it?
I want to buy it.
You want to buy it?
I really want to buy it.
I do too, because it looks super good. I mean, I know it's just the same story retold over and over again, but it's like, it looks so good.
It's the RPG, and I think it's one of the only Dragon Ball Z games that tells the whole story.
Yeah, the whole of Dragon Ball Z.
The whole of Dragon Ball Z.
The whole TV
Not
show.
Super, not Dragon Ball,
and not even
but all of Z.
Yeah,
okay.
all of Z, yeah.
I was going to say.
It's like all 3 arcs.
Yeah, it goes from like the whole beginning of the Raditz saga all the way through the Vegeta saga and everything, and Piccolo and the whole shebang, and then through Majin Buu up until GT starts, but they just didn't include GT.
Good.
Yeah.
we much prefer Super.
Yeah, 100%.
A little bit more. Not so much more, but a little bit more.
Yeah.
There's still some problems with Super.
We got 4 minutes to technically make it 2 hours. So actually, I mean,
well, let's just keep the conversation going.
Yeah, we'll keep the conversation going. See where it leads us. But back to the topic of characters that are very similar in Smash Ultimate. They implemented the fact that they weren't going to lie to us that the characters were the same character anymore. Because I don't know if you've seen Lucina and Marth.
They're basically the same.
They are literally the same character.
Oh, really?
Except Marth has always had this mechanic, even from Melee, where the tip of his sword is stronger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whereas with Lucina, the whole of her sword is the same. It's not quite as strong as the tip, but it's much stronger than the weak spot on Marth's sword.
Just the tip, eh?
Just the tip.
Just the tip.
But with Lucina, it means that you don't have to be as accurate, and you still get the same result, or if not better result, because you have to space with Marth to kill people. You know.
So you can play. I guess
you can play. You can play not even just sloppier, but it just means that you can be closer to your opponent than you could with
You're a bit freer. You got more liberty to do stuff.
Well, let's go through some of the characters. So what would you think of like Mr. Game & Watch?
Mr. Game & Watch? He's high tier.
He's so high tier, especially in what's the Wii version? Melee? No, Smash. Brawl.
No, Game Watch, this is the first game where Game Watch has been a high tier.
Yeah.
So this is the first game where Game & Watch, apart from PM, which doesn't count because it's not a real game, this has been the first game where Game & Watch has been really good.
Yeah.
Because they gave him access to an incredibly good outer shield option. So when he's being pressured, he can just zoom away. They gave him actual combos, and they've also given him incredibly good smash attacks, which are pretty much safe. They've just given him some really silly tools, and a lot of people like to complain about him, but he's nowhere near as bad as he was in PM. So everyone can shut up.
What about like Bowser or Donkey Kong?
Bowser is the best heavy in the game.
Really?
He's also high tier. Every other heavy is usually mid tier lower.
Yeah, so Donkey Kong would be mid tier as well. Then.
Donkey Kong's probably mid tier.
Yep.
So the difference with Bowser is that he's a heavy, and he still kills you like at 80 sometimes, if not earlier. But they also made him ridiculously fast. He's super fast. Like he runs now instead of like crawling on the floor. He like runs, and you just have to deal with this guy running at you, and you're just throwing out moves, and they're humongous, and you just die.
What about Wario then as well?
Wario is also, a lot of people think Wario is top tier. Yeah. Because he has the fart or the waft.
Yep. And the bike as well, I guess, in a way.
The bike's good because it gives him a really good recovery. And it also, if you like throw the bike, it opens up a lot of really cool ledge trapping situations. Oh, really cool for the Wario player. Ledge trapping situations. But a big part of it is the waft, because he charges it every 2 minutes, and he can kill you off of a stray hit at 30, and you can die.
Really?
Yeah.
At 30?
Yeah.
Holy crap, okay.
That's why Wario is really good.
What about Pikachu or Pichu as
Pikachu's best character in the game.
Really?
Pikachu is by far the best character in the game. The character is so small that you can't touch him.
Yeah. And then with his how he gets away, it's like you can do the whole...
Yeah, he has an amazing recovery.
Yeah.
Like pretty much near unpunishable. He's super fast. He has some of the best combos in the game.
Yeah, and if you
pull the characters up,
and he's pretty ridiculous as well. And if the guy wants to be annoying, he can be very annoying.
Pikachu can literally sit back and throw Thunderjolt at you the entire game, and then as soon as you make any mistake, he can approach you lightning fast and kill you.
My mate does it all the time, and he loves Pikachu because he loves Pokemon. So he's ridiculous with Pikachu. He plays.
So what are all the top tier characters besides from the ones you've listed?
In my opinion,
I think Palutena is extremely good.
Palutena? Where is
that? She's, if you go all the way down a little bit more, she's got green hair. There she is.
Oh yeah, that girl.
She's extremely good. She's amazing. She's so good.
Yeah.
Literally just one of the most impressive characters in the game. I think Lucina is top tier. The Marth clone. She's incredible. What do you think about Pit? I think Pit is a solid mid tier. Yeah, he's a good all rounder. Pokemon Trainer. That actually, I might have to retract my Pikachu statement, because Pokemon Trainer theoretically could be the best character in the game. If you know how to use them. Because you have 3 different Pokemon for every single situation.
That's right. Yeah.
And you could be playing perfectly one matchup, but as soon as you don't know all 3 matchups, you start losing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who else is extremely good?
Will you say Meta Knight as well, potentially? Or?
No, not in this game. Meta Knight, they took away a lot of what made him bonkers in the other one. In Brawl. Yeah. Because in Meta Knight, in Brawl, he literally ignored all the problems with the game. And just played his own game.
Yeah,
it's pretty great. He was a great character.
He didn't have to touch the floor because he could air camp you.
Yeah.
Because he had 5 jumps, and he had literally Marth's sword. A sword bigger than Marth's sword. So he literally could air camp you forever.
Yeah.
Other top tiers that I can think of.
Joker from Persona 5.
Oh, with the DLC character, really?
Yep. Very good.
Incredibly good character. Used to be a lot better. I don't think he used to be probably one of the best characters in the game.
Was he OP?
But they just nerfed him, or
they nerfed him.
Yeah.
They've specifically nerfed his Arsene, which is like when you get hit as Joker, you charge up Arsene, which is your persona, and then when that thing comes out, you start killing people at 70. Whereas now they've made it so that they haven't changed much about Arsene, apart from the fact now you lose Arsene when being hit 30% faster than you did before. So before you would like get hit and you'd be like, that's a bit of Arsene out. Now you watch Joker's Arsene bar. If he gets hit or if he's stuck in a combo, the thing's like nearly gone. Yeah. So to play Joker now is good. He's still an amazing character, and they really didn't nerf any of the super large problems with him. But Arsene is definitely a lot worse now.
What about Jigglypuff?
Jigglypuff's a weird one. I want to say Jigglypuff's really good. I really do, because that character can be really obnoxious.
Yeah.
But it's nowhere near good enough to be like top tier.
Yeah.
It's like, I think Jigglypuff is probably a solid high tier if used correctly. If you play like a
bitch.
Then Jigglypuff is extremely good.
Yeah.
Snake. Opinion on Snake.
Oh, Snake. Yeah.
Snake's
Another
phenomenal.
easy top tier. Easy top tier. The character throws things on screen, and you literally just. He has some unreactable ledge traps. Like if you get stuck at ledge in this game, that's a terrible place to be. Snake just has unescapable ledge traps. Sometimes, if the snake plays right, you die.
Yeah.
He also has moves that just kill you at dummy early percents.
What about Rob as well?
Rob.
I didn't say Rob.
Rob is very close to being top tier.
Very close.
I think with a bit more optimization.
He was interesting.
Rob is a pretty borked character.
Yeah.
So what's the one in Wii again?
Brawl?
Brawl, yeah.
Rob is weird in Brawl.
Yeah.
I've noticed he's gotten better.
I think Mega Man could also be top tier.
Really?
Yeah. Mega Man is literally probably the best keep away character in this game.
What about Incineroar or King K. Rool? So I got told King K. Rool was top. Like,
Didn't he get nerfed? Didn't King K. Rool
Both
get nerfed?
those characters kind of suck.
No, really?
King K. Rool is just gimmicks. Incineroar is also just gimmicks.
Yeah.
But Incineroar's gimmick is really, really good. But the problem is that's his entire character. So as long as you outplay the gimmick, you win.
Okay, yeah.
What about Wii Fit Trainer?
Wii Fit Trainer is super slept on. That character is super good. No one will believe me until we get really good Wii Fit players.
Yeah.
The character makes literally no sense.
Yeah.
And that's why they're super good.
It's supposed to be really strong, aren't they? Like impossible to not impossible to beat.
No, like-
they're ridiculous. They're like Peach. In like other games, you just kind of.
No, with Wii Fit Trainer in this game, it's mainly all due to the fact that they can camp you out and make you approach, but they also have this thing called deep breathing, which is the down B, where you like time a big deep breath. It's like a big ring that comes around you. You got to time it right, which basically makes them one of the scariest characters in the video game. They'll just kill you
away.
sometimes at 90. It's like if you had Joker Arsene,
But non-stop.
you could activate it whenever you wanted.
Yeah. Okay. What about Villager?
I think Villager's okay. I don't really know much about Villager because there's not many Villager players.
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you like Peach?
I don't like Peach, but Peach is a very good character.
There you go.
Yeah.
Peach is also probably top tier. Peach has literally some of the scariest combos in the game.
Ice Climbers?
Yeah, but that's
Or Dr. Mario?
If people could play Ice Climbers like they do on their Twitter combo videos, then Ice Climbers would be the best character in the game. But no one can.
Yeah.
Everyone's not good enough to do it in real life.
Is it because it's just too tricky?
It's literally Ice Climbers can kill you off of any grab if they desync correctly. But it's so hard to desync in this game.
What do you mean by
So
desync?
in a good environment,
You can
they're good.
desync the two of them, so that you
Okay.
can start
Yeah.
inputting separate moves.
Oh, really? So
But
they
it's
can both attack at the same time?
So hard to do.
Really?
Yeah.
I did not know you
Well,
could
I
do
know
that.
the problem is at first they attack at the same time.
Yeah.
Whereas if you desync them, then there's enough of a gap where you can actually press buttons as Nana while
So you
Popo's
can
doing something.
juggle people pretty much.
You can literally like just
Yeah.
take them to the ledge and then sometimes just kill them if you do it right.
Yeah.
But people suck at ice climbers. That's just the fact of the matter. Sonic, also really good. People don't understand how good that character is.
Yeah.
I also think that character is much more of a rushdown character than a campy character in this game.
Lucario?
Lucario. I don't want to think about if Lucario was good. That scares me. The fact that if you're winning against Lucario, you're actually losing is the most terrifying thought. Keeps me up at night.
You gotta meet my mate James. I gotta introduce you to my mate James. He loves the abstract characters. Lucario is his favorite character for that same reason. He's all about the idea of just
You're losing and now you're winning.
yeah, exactly. He loves that.
Alright.
Should probably wrap it up there.
Yep,
Yeah.
we're 11 minutes over.
Good times. Talking about video games and stuff.
Yeah, that's it.
Also Mario. That's my character. I love him.
Top tier.
I think he's probably top tier, but no one believes me. But
You gotta prove it.
I will, Damien. Anyway, thank you guys
Alright.
very much for having me
Yeah,
on.
thank you, Brandon, for coming on.
I'm
Thank
sorry
you,
if it was a
Damon.
bit of a mess.
It's all good.
Well, that was no mess. It was just all
was
love.
good.
It's all
Yeah.
love.
It was
all
actually
love.
really good. I'm pretty happy with the way this podcast
Thank
went.
you.
Thank you, Damon.
I was very nervous coming on, thinking I didn't know
and
what to
be
talk
the
about.
co-host and everything.
Oh no, it was great.
Thank you,
Thank you for
Benjamin.
putting up with my sleep-deprived ass.
Yep.
And my
Thank you, Benjamin, for being the Mitch for the
man.
podcast.
And this guy,
And
Mitch,
next
no
week-
sleep, and he learned all this about 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a beast.
He's done well.
Yep.
Yeah.
Love
And
your work.
So
Thanks,
this is
I do try.
this is the end. This is the episode 15 of the Infra-Red podcast, and we are signing off. You have to run the ending credits
What was that?
in the OBS studio.
We will be running the ending credits when we find the ending credits.
Yeah. Good night, Lachlan. We're gonna figure this out.
Good night, Lachlan.
We'll just figure this out real quick.
Cut it. Cut the feed. Cut the feed.
Oh God. Why isn't it
okay.
over yet? Don't say anything, Brad.